Hello, I am Brenda Power Medicine Woman, and Brenda Power Medicine Woman is who I am, and I am here to teach, to learn. I'm a student, I'm a teacher. What am I supposed to be doing? I allow spirit to come through. We all do. And I have specialized in asking the question, when the Bible said to us one time, there is healing. I can't remember the words. Spirit had just disconnected me, has reconnected me with something else. I'm not sure where we're going with this. Hello, everybody. I'm just excited to be here because all I can tell you is that I have been working very hard at fine-tuning this frequency so I can hear from a very higher frequency. It's something that you have to pay attention to because as you begin to download energies, you don't want to burn yourself out. You don't want to fake yourself out. You don't want to be listening to ego. You have to be listening with your heart and your mind, and you get into that frequency. Someday I'm going to show you how to do that. There's several things that Spirit wants us all to learn and to grow because the planet, 10 of 10, now I haven't decided that would be tomorrow. If it does, Spirit is telling me that this is so huge because this is like the end of the cycle and the beginning of a new cycle, and it's so huge that and I keep hearing I'm supposed to wait, even though it's a very, very important download. I'm supposed to wait. So I've got my message. All right, that's fine. I'll do so. But in the future, we're going to have you can belong to this one group where you just get to have interaction where we can talk and stuff like this, and the video every now and then, and I'll put up a card every now and then. But there'll be a paid one. But you have to talk to me about that. And I have got to get the name of it and where we're going to do it because there's going to be several groups with the increase of prices that you get more special discounts when you have your private readings with me, many other things that are coming into play. So keep that in mind. The classes are forming. I might just start putting out a lead class so that we can, that foundation, so that we can really start gathering the information. Hello. And if you can't ever find me on Facebook, you can always find me on YouTube. I broadcast these two simultaneously. Sometimes I do extra things on YouTube. Now, what's interesting is as soon as I started to record, the color in my YouTube changes. That always looks dark. There's not much I can do about it. I'm not sure what's happening. Now, the levels of consciousness, the first, second, third chakra. These are centers. These are brains. These are levels of consciousness. And what does that mean? Well, the first three are all about survival. And as you begin to grow, you will start to grow out of those. You have to take the wisdom. But if you stay in your hells, and that is you create a heaven and hell on earth. Most people don't even realize what that is. They're states of mind. If you believe that your life is nothing but hell, then that's what you're going to get. But if you believe your life is hell and you know that there is a light at the end of that tunnel and that there is a way out, then you are absolutely correct. That third option is so important because it is part of your awakening. You're going to start to stop having fate. It was like, oh, well, it was destined to happen. It was fate. Well, here's a lot of things you guys don't know. Do you know what runs your body? An innate wisdom. But do you know that your subconscious mind runs your body? But it also runs your life. It holds all the programs. You are a computer. This is a computer. You beam yourself in here. Yeah, you heard what I said. You beam yourself in. We have receptors on our skins, and the code matches up. So you know exactly where to come in at and which body is yours. Okay. And once you beam yourself in, this is what I want to say. your body is your spirit, because consciousness is all there is, and you start to create it into hologram. This is who I am. Now, I'm not going to go too deep because I can. It's just, let's get back to what they want to talk about. That first and second and third chakra, it's all about consuming. It's all about survival. And you will find a very important thing that occurs, and that if you were to change somebody's world, for instance, you stop showing up the way that they expect you to, you're going to disturb it. They will want to pull you back into their reality about how they know you. How dare you change type thing. Oh God, who are you becoming? Oh, and you're learning to be in that cocoon and to become a butterfly, which means you're going to have to be okay to pull out of that cookie cutter world and start to transform into who you are. And you're going to find a lot of people that are going to go to the first, second, and third chakra, and they're just going to be like, what about me? And at the same time, the mirror is, you're saying, what about me? But you're not doing it in the way that is all, gimme, 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 in the ego form. You're doing it as, I freaking need to survive, but I'm going to do it without ego. I cannot do it through this ego anymore. And the ego is an electromagnetic guiding omni-apparition. Okay? You are an electromagnetic being. You are viewing your consciousness through these sensory receptors that are in this physical form, but you have inner receptors, and we forgot how to use those. But as you start to view life, your programs, actually, your inner world creates your outer world. But your outer world influences your inner world. And you can create, as long as you accept and you believe, then you give it your willpower, then you will create certain programs. You can uncreate certain programs. And most people are saying, what? Okay, don't get lost. Just know that your emotions, and most people do not give yourself credit. You're like, what? Emotions have nothing to do with my health. It has everything to do with your health. It has everything to do with your life. Why do you think that there's mental health? Why do you think that people have emotional issues? I just don't understand why some people can't mirror and marry the two, that your physical health and your physical world has everything to do with your personality. And that is made up of your behaviors, which is made up of what you accepted that became limited and no longer serves. What the beliefs, that the power that you gave your life force to keep that alive and saying, this is what I believe, and you keeping it alive. So it's so important to begin to understand that you have to wake up to how you're creating your world. And yes, when you begin this trail, you're going to say, oh my God, they made me feel that way. Yes, they were a trigger. But you already agreed to feel that way because it's an emotion that's trapped. Trapped emotions. So recently, I've been having spinal issues, and I'm like, what the heck's this all about? So when Spirit wants you to learn something, now I firmly believe I won't teach it, I won't pass it on if I haven't learned it myself, experienced it myself, because then, I mean, I got nothing to talk about if I don't understand it. What's the point of passing something on? Unless you have faith in that other person or other thing. So I said to Spirit, what do we do? You want me to teach some stuff, but I just don't quite get it. And Spirit said, okay, in the Bible, it talked about hands-on healing. That was my determination. I want to know. And I learned baby steps, right? I'm sure if they handed this to me, which is what they did, I did not know what I had, and I had a bad experience and got rid of it. So you have to start where everybody starts. You know, once a disaster turns into a master. You have to understand what it's not before you can appreciate what it really is and what it can do. We just so focus on so much of what it's not that we don't believe in ourselves anymore. Excuse me just for a second. My heater is very warm. Okay, so I went from scratch. So every time I have something going on out here, I know it's an inner program. So I will figure out what it is. It always leads back to energy, and it leads back to an emotion. You can connect it to a belief or a value. You're like, wow. And it'll always connect back to the Kundalini, which is the energy that runs through your chakras, which is the level of consciousness. And as I begin to really dive into this world of healing and understanding about what it means to be human, I'm diving further into knowing that spirit teaches me. Now, my spine was bothering me, and I thought, why does this seem to be bothering me? And spirit says, oh, good. Now that we got your attention over here instead of over there, I want you to study this. And just by synchronicities, buying zinc in powdered form and bringing it home and starting to look it up, because I started to have some muscle issues and nerve issues, and I couldn't understand what was going on. I knew my parathyroid was going nuts, rubbing on my points, corrected it for a short time. And I said, okay, why is my body programmed that way? Spirit says, good question. And then when I'm like, okay, I'm finding more and more about this. Now I have learned, and this is what happens for me, is I have learned about Kundalini. I've learned about the ninth chakra. I have learned about the body. And now it's time to start putting them all together, because you can understand certain things, but when you start to see how they operate together, it makes a big story. So out of the blue, my wonderful friend, Jennifer, says, hey, I'm working on people tonight, and I'm going to add you to the group. What do you need? And I says, well, it's a funny thing. I don't understand what's going on with my neck. She's okay. She comes back. She goes, I don't know much about it, but I keep hearing the ninth chakra. She goes, what do you hear? I said, I hear it's damaged, but she goes, yeah. And she said, oh, I see some attachments. And now in her mind, her attachments that could be goobers. Goobers can be the world of negativity from attachments, other souls, things that can attack. And for me, it's like, okay, these goobers are translated into what? And finally, spirits pointed out they are specific emotions. And if Jennifer Topple's listening, it's connected to the mothership. You'll know what that means. And I realized that the Kundalini, the ninth chakra, and the mineral issue that I have going on are all related to how I see the world, and how it's all about the structure of thinking and emotions. And when I started to intentionally include working on the Kundalini and the ninth chakra at the same time, and the emotion, I had some weird things that were happening in my body. I mean, I literally can feel it relaxing and shifting. And I'm like, what? And then I wake up to a world that the energy from my body has already projected out. And there's just this wave of love from people that just came in out of the blue, out of nowhere. But it's all about synchronicity. And I said, oh my gosh, I'm learning how to receive on a whole nother level. I am learning how to give and receive on a whole nother level. I could feel that my Kundalini had started to really wake up and go through the chakras the way that the energy should be able to flow. And I have to say, I feel a lot better than I used to. And I don't think I have to really take on people's energies anymore. And see, that was one of the things that I had issues with. I ended up taking stuff on, even though I know that you're supposed to observe. And I've learned a lot of tools along the way to help stop absorbing. And so again, I have to go through these things so I can pick up and learn and pass them all on to you. And I have so many tools and how to do things. Like the parathyroid, energy medicine. I have all of these things. I made a deal with spirits. Look, don't use my kids anymore. Only come through me, or if you want customers to come to me. I can't, I mentally, emotionally don't want to handle the hell that when your child gets sick or something's wrong with them. And, or my husband, and boom, everything was not out there. It was hey, she agreed that she's going to pay attention. We're going to teach her this way. So you have to be careful what you ask for, what you pray for, what it is. And if you did ask, you better damn well understand that you're going to be receiving answers. And you can really shift your world in such a way you'd be amazed at yourself. So when you start to climb out of the pit of hell, understand it is about those emotions. Your thoughts, okay, have everything to do with the frequency of the emotion. Okay, there is thoughts that become things, but then there is programs, and these programs will make you think. Okay, and as these programs begin to make you think, then you don't even know it. This is where it becomes a repetitive hell, and this is where it gets very interesting, because then what would the little self from time of conception up to this age of 7 even think? Now, you want to talk about being illogical. They don't know how they got from A to Z. They just know it makes perfect sense if I did this, this, and this, and this, and this. And then we're looking and go, but that don't make any sense. It's not meant to. You're supposed to create and learn how to cope, handle, and deal with life. And if you haven't learned any of those abilities, learn how to express yourself, or this is how you learn to express yourself. You have to unlearn and relearn where you need to go. And when it comes to survival with yourself, you will be amazed at what you'll frickin' do to yourself in order to survive. Even to kill yourself. It may sound stupid, but when your brain can't handle anymore, and it feels like it's being attacked over and over and can't handle it anymore. These are all the emotions, but these are all energies. Energies are electromagnetically off, or they're stuck, or they're too much, or they're too under. It's chaos. Okay, it's a terror attack inside of you. It is a riot going on inside of you, and you know. So I have learned that even when I don't feel good, which I really haven't had any flus or any of that. Thank you, Spirit. I just know where at certain points to start to rub. And then when I start to come out of it, I then muscle test and listen to Spirit, and then I can understand how to rub more. Let me explain one more time. When you're sick or your emotions, you can't really channel clearly. Do you understand? Because you have dropped your frequency, which drops your vibration, which changes your musical notes, which changes the frequency of how you're choosing to exist in this world based on programs. Just remember your energy and emotions. If you're less than happy, go tap it out. If you don't understand how to do certain things, then good God, make a private session with me and we can help you do this. Now, you're going to get frustrated with people out there. There are people that are awake, and there are different degrees of what that looks like. If you are awake, depending on which level of consciousness or chakra you go through, will depend on whether you're going to be in sync with another one or not. Like, I know people that are awake, but only awake in the first and second, and they don't quite understand and are not open to anything I have to say, but they're awake. They can meditate, they do yoga, they're eating healthy, they're thinking, this is a good one, positive, negative. They don't realize they're using the two sides of themselves. They're positively talking about their life and negatively bitching about life. And all that's doing is causing conflict. Not out here, but as much as it is in here. And the more you sit there and stand in the cause and effect equation, where you are in always the effect, and you're pointing your finger and you're like, life sucks, and doing small talk and bitching about things and gathering your minions and saying, oh, don't you agree? And then you're like hoping somebody will stand up for you. I mean, it's great when people work together and stand up for each other and support each other. It's like, if I'm climbing that mountain and I need help, I'm hoping somebody will reach behind and save my ass, because I'm going, well, that I'm able to sit there always and pull somebody up, even if it's my enemy. And it is, let's go. You don't need, you're worth living. You popped your ass into this body for a reason. Let's wake your ass up, But I will also respect where you're at. But I will also respect the fact that I won't put my hand in the fire again just because I think you need it. Now, you have to come to that realization, okay? Point blank. You have to start to begin to learn all these little things. And these are the little things that I teach. These are the little things. This is why the empowerment and enlightenment class is going to be a big one. Because what I do here is what I do in these classes, but I help you see further what it is you need to do. Okay? And when it comes to the ego, remember, you can't see me if you don't have an ego. It is only when you take and you look through the lens, okay, and you begin to over-identify with that lens, and you forget who your connection is and the vibration that you are, and you're going into programs. And this is where the musical notes inside of you start to change and become off kilter. Your symphony isn't working, your harmonizing ain't working. And you're over-identifying. You're like, but I love that person. I don't know why they don't love me back. And you can't let that go. Or someone dies, and then you just can't get over it. Oh my God, I've had so many people die in my life. And what I realized that even though time healed it, and which means that I could live, my heart never mended. My body always took a hit. And I couldn't hear the loved ones. And then I said, Spirit, what's going on? And Spirit says, because you haven't healed the root. You never coped, handled, and dealt with it, which I can understand then because it was too much of a shock to your system. But you get a chance now. And so I went back and I healed my heart. I mended my heart. I took the shields down and I put in the light instead of it. I went in further to face what I needed to look at in my life. And as I healed those roots, I took the wisdom. I learned to cope, handle, and deal with the things that I couldn't. I did it right then. I took the wisdom out of it, and I learned that even though I was nice, and yet this woman kept still abusing me, why was I hooking myself up to her and being nice to her? I unhooked myself from her, and I stayed nice. And I stopped putting my hand in the fire, and Spirit says, okay, now you're going to gravitate to like-minded people. And I had, and I did. And you know what the best part is? I am freaking happy. I wake up every day bubbling. I used to never want to get out of bed. I dreaded getting out of bed. I didn't want to face the day. My thoughts were all over the place. My heart was always broken. And I was ill-tempered to some degree, which is, I was so tired of trying to face the world and people, because as soon as I would try to be nice, they would just like, it's all about them. Or they were bitch. Or you're like, what's wrong with you? You should be doing this. And it's like, there was always somebody's emotions of attack, negative thinking, negative this, negative that. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't. And I just didn't know how to handle it. I created an intolerance, which affected my health, which affected my life. And I says, there's got to be a better way. And Spirit says, yes, there is. Glad you asked. We talked about hands-on healing. We gave you Reiki energy, a Reiki master. So I use the Dragon Reiki. And what that does is it takes, and it's a shortcut to spirituality, because what it helps you get helpers, you get energy, you get this energy that helps you to get out of the lower 3 chakras and start to develop past that, past the insanity, past that. And how do I define insanity? You can't make something stop. It just keeps repeating itself over and over and over, and it drives you crazy because you're like, I can't make it stop. And I've learned how to make it stop. And I've learned that it was an emotional chemical peptide that makes it that way. And you have to decide, and if you're going to fully awake, it cannot just be, I'm going to eat right, do yoga, think positive. Take it to the next level. Keep questioning. Keep asking Spirit. Say, thank you for showing me. Thank you for showing me more. Because just right when you think you've got it, more information comes. And as long as you start to understand to do the third option, instead of just be wrapped up in your world, you will eventually, with all the healing tools, you'll learn to stop over-identifying with matter. And you'll start to stand back and look that this is a lens. And you can learn through spiritual investigation, going, oh my God, I lost emotions there. And my emotions, it's like a twang. Oh God, I got pissed because why? because there's an unresolved issue somewhere in the past. That's what the past is. That's what emotions are. It's the past. And there's just so much you can do. And all of a sudden Spirit says that's a lot for people to take in. That makes a lot of sense. Now, being controlled and affected by the energies of the planet. Good God, I know this one. Your energy. Learn about acupressure, acupuncture. I'm not talking about using big dry needles. That's why I'm putting together a class that has to do with source point healing. It's understanding you have to learn how to use muscle testing or a pendulum. And then you just need to learn only a few points just to begin with. And then as you grow, you get to learn a little bit more. But as you learn how they interact, because I can show you how just in the beginning, how to get yourself turned around. It's all about measuring. It's about knowing how many times to actually address it. And energy, your aura, it's like, oh, it's just an aura. No, it's not. It's so much fucking more than that. Sorry about my language, but it's so much more than that, because I'm going to eventually teach people how to read that in your life. It really isn't that hard. As long as you get the education and the knowledge, getting the terminology makes you excel. Now, we were talking about fate and destiny. If your programs are running the show, which is in the subconscious mind, okay, it's below this, you're going to make everything in life hard because it's unconscious and it's incompetent. And how you grow and excel as a soul, as an awakened being, is that all of a sudden you're like, you think you're happy, and all of a sudden, twangs, negative stuff happens. If you don't know how to read them, you're just going to call it fate. But if you're like, oh, that got my attention. Oh, that stuck out like a sore thumb. Shit, I don't want to I don't want to waste it and have to do it again. What do I do? Well, once you understand how your energy is basically based on emotions, that tells you your beliefs and your stories and your limitations and how you gave your willpower away. And you learn to basically resolve the emotions. And then what happens is when the emotions are going nuts, your thoughts are going to increase, and then you're going to get high beta, and then you're going to get anxiety, stress, and you're going to get panic attacks, and you're going to get all the things that you hate. Negative thinking, depression, all of that. It just, okay? When you start to find and connect how all these are linked, and you start resolving the emotions, what was unconscious becomes conscious. And what was incompetent becomes very supportive, very competent. You now have the wisdom, and you're going to put that wisdom in that special place where all wisdom goes, so that when your energy in the inside starts to produce out, all of those old stories begin to fade. They becomes a memory. You get to build upon the past. You get to see how you make it through. And the more you start to change your narcissistic attitude, which is an old paradigm, or your haughtiness about, oh gosh, even to an animal, you begin to transform who you are. Okay? It's the transformation. The transformation can suck. But good God, it's so worth the transformation. And eventually, it's the journey, and you come out the other side. The biggest thing you can do when it comes to energy, when the world does it, again, if you have no other tools and you have no other way to do it, I highly suggest disrupting it. EFT, that's the fastest, quickest way to help begin to balance yourself. Even though you don't even have to do a phrase, you're like, even though I feel like shit and I feel like the wind is kicking my ass today, you're disrupting frequencies. Where you're tapping are meridian points, and you don't have to be hooked into it. And that's what part of the tapping does. You may have to do several rounds. Some people think, oh God, that's too much work. Okay, if you're not worth it, then don't do it. But if you feel like you're worth it, then tap. Okay, put a little effort into yourself and do several rounds on that particular subject. And if your mind is constantly all over the place, there's a Wayne Cook posture that will help balance your mind. There's balancing the cortis, which balances the mind. Oh my God, that which helps balance your mind. It helps you get out of stress. There's all these little things on my website. There's all these free healing tools that you can start to apply to yourself. You just got to start thinking that you're worth it. You have to get and schedule yourself in your own damn life. You need to say, oh, and as soon as you start to feel like, understand that's a program. Say, I'm shutting that damn program off and I'm going to do it this way. The more you do this, the more you're going to start getting into a specific part of who you are that's going to make you feel healthier and stronger, and you wake up every day happier and everything else. The classes will cost all different kinds of pricing. It pretty much probably will stay like $11 for each class, just because it's, I want you to come back. Okay, I want you to come back. I want you to take and invest in yourself. Now, I'm located out of South Australia, but most of my classes are going to be like through these type of venues, through the video. But I know that there's other places where I can make the window come up and I can see all of the students at once. There's so many different things we can do. There really is. Okay, so there's a lot going on, and for some reason I've got to get a new glasses. So I'm saving up my money. I need glasses because I can't even see. Now, for those of you that understand how this works, if you want a paid reading, what happens is it throws you an expedite, which means it throws you at the top of the. You get attention first, so then it goes into order. If you want a free minute read, and is you can medicine woman for you at dr.com, and one question, one question, and then it will show up. Now, don't repeat that question 1,000 times. Just send it once, and then I will get to you in that order. Okay. And for those of you that, if you accidentally send money through to Medicine Woman for you at dr.com, no problem. PayPal has recognized my email and has now made 2 ways for people to pay, which I need to know if there is a, where'd she go? I need to find this woman, and I don't know if she's on, and if she is, I lost her again. Christina Peacock. Okay, you paid and it showed up in my other account, and that's how I found you. I don't know if we did a reading or if this is new, because I can't understand the date on it, which is today. So that means that you must have sent money to get a reading. Let's try to keep the payments through PayPal as bpower.mw@dr.com, and all the questions go to Medicine Woman for you at dr.com. So anyways, getting back to the right screen, which would be great, in which I can't even see my screen. There you go. Yes, I have a lot of them already, so I'm just going to double check to see if Christina's here. Yeah, hi, Gaia Man. Yep, I got you. And let's just see if... I'm so glad to see, Diana, you're feeling better. All these beautiful faces. I recognize all of you. You become my family. I love it. And there's family. Hi, Betty. All right, so a Christina Peacock, if you are present, I need to know, because people have sent me money and I feel that I need, if it's a donation, you need to say nothing in return, because people, when they send and say they donation, they're expecting something. This is so confusing and all new to me, but I'm getting there. And all right, just about ready to start the paids. I'm still looking for Christina, and I'll if any, Amy, if you happen to run across her, let me know. Any of you that decide that paid, that want to call in, you're more than welcome to do so. and then people can hear you live, or we can do it. So Gaia Man, you just have to decide how you want me to read it. Do you want a specific question? If so, write it right here, please. If you paid, talk to me right here on chat. That would be great. So we will take, and she said she'd go later, and I can do that. And then so I think Gaia Man's up first. All right. So as soon as I hear back from Gaia Man, then we will go into the paid readings. And guess what I remembered? I found my timer. It fell under the table. And it fell under the table, but under a pillow. So every time I looked under the table, when Spirit said it's there, and I'm like, I don't see it. Finally, I got moved the pillow. I don't know why I couldn't get that. That made me laugh. Okay. All right. So nobody has seen her. Well, I'll have to figure out how to contact her because I don't think she's friends of mine. So that makes it even harder yet to find the person. Okay. Gaia Man. I don't know if he's, Paul, yo, Paul. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start and I'll look up. And if Paul, you have anything you want to say, then I better look and see if Paul wrote me here. I don't see Paul, so we're good. All right. So then I will go back. Okay, Danny. All right. Yep, Alan, Crystal Ann, I did see yours. Oh, here you go. Okay. So anything specific, Paul, that you want me to talk about? Because I'm going to start your 11 right now and just general. Okay. All right. Now we're going to check because we have worked with your energy before. Have you grown from anything that you have done? Oh, you have excelled a little bit. That's good. It's always good when they've given information. Compatibility to what in particular? People? Okay, so I feel like compatibility to my surroundings. So are you just not, there's just an uncomfortability. All right, so as you show me the uncomfortability, it has to do with people make you that way. So are you still having conversations and things like this that you still have a quiet voice and you still feel like you're irrelevant in the situation? Because if so, then I will look towards your Kundalini and I'm going to see that it has to do with the first chakra about how is it that you're supposed to feel in your surroundings. And as I'm looking, it is in the spiritual body way out there. And it's about fear. And in this case, the fear, because if you think that like, well, I don't have any fear, it was going to be related to as soon as you get into that situation about ready to talk, there becomes a disconnection. And because of that disconnection, you're like, ooh, I don't want that feeling. Now, it's a very specific feeling, even though you can talk and you have a great voice and people hear you and all of this stuff happening. The problem is that this is a remembrance. This goes back into the nadis, the energies of the Kundalini. And this goes back to you had an experience somewhere along a soul line. And as I'm looking, it is the disconnected is like, okay, you're going to jump the conversation, but there's an awkward feeling. It's a very specific awkward feeling. And you, without knowing, then your brain starts to go into certain thoughts because the emotions start to kick in. And then your voice doesn't really want to resonate and communicate out or be that, because sometimes you can put your mind in there. Yes, I am Paul. But when you go out, you're like, where? I just can't seem to get past this. Okay. So, and that's what's called an arrested development. All right. And as I begin to look at this, the awkwardness makes you feel incompatible because your remembrance on the soul line was that you had incompatibility with people, but not really in this lifetime, but it's a lot of residue from that particular time, and you haven't gotten over it. That particular time, you became conscientious. It was doing the right and wrong, and back then, from past life that I can hear, because that's new. I feel your past life self standing right behind me as a remembrance. Now, remember, when parts of you create in another soul and die, you leave that imprint behind. So you're standing right here, and you're from, God, you look like the Renaissance time. It was, oh, wow. So it was, were you a peasant? But in the regal's time. Okay, so that means that in that time period, if you were going against the king, you could get killed. It wasn't really going against religion as much as going against the king. And it was, you had to be really careful what you said. So there's a particular part of you, it's like, oh, and so that's the remembrance. So if you were to really heal this, I would say, go to R1S. It's the right wrist, first position, nice and soft, okay? And I want you to kind of put yourself in that position of thinking that if I say anything, I'm going to get my head cut off, or I'm going to get a hanging, or whatever the feeling of fear is, because there it was like, I could see fire. So, or it could be unexpected shot, not shot, but whatever, the bow and arrow. I don't know what they did. Stabbing, whatever. But it was like, but then I also feel like somebody put you on the path, that past life, put you on a display and said, like, okay, how Christ was put on the cross, I feel like they had to put you on a display. And yeah, it is anxiety. It's weird because it starts in that first chakra, but then when it comes up and shoots in your head, you're like, whew, okay. So I would definitely say R1S for that, and worry. And just allow yourself in that space, because you already know it exists. You already know it's there. And if you're afraid to really feel it, I want you just to look at it, because you said it feels like anxiety. But if you just stare at it and find those connections about what I said and how you feel about it, and just think, okay, we're going to heal this out of the Kundalini and out of the 9th chakra. You don't need to know anything else about what those are. You can look them up all you want, but you're going to heal it out of the 9th chakra and heal it out of the Kundalini. That's intention. And then you're going to go into that awkward feeling, listen to the story, and start healing that out. Now, all of a sudden, I'm feeling, what is this? The stress points of the is going off. What would you want? Deliberately, Rob? Don't hold. Where would you want to go with this? Okay, so when you're getting ready to, after you feel like that feeling is calmed down, then I want you to look at life a little differently. I want you to just kind of worry. Just don't think of that time period as much as think of worry, just to worry. Worry about what you say next, or worry about, it's just a little bit different than anxiety. And you're going to hold R2D, which is the right wrist in the second position. Remember, 1, 2, and you're going to hold your thumb in deep this time. Okay. Don't forget this part. And you're going to just worry. And then you're going to look at your kids, look at your wife, look at your friends, worry about yourself, putting yourself into a situation, and just do it that way. Yeah, those hurt, don't they? But allow yourself to remember, put it on a scale from 0 to 10. Get it to a 10. I'm sure it's not hard for you. But if you can't get the number, give it a color. Okay, eventually you're going to get the color to be clear or white, and the number to be 0. So you can just, say, oh, it's there a little bit. No, finish it off then. But you want to just check in and just like, oh, I don't recognize it. I can't find it. That's awesome. And do that with both. Okay. Now, if you're sitting there and all of a sudden you're like, ooh, something familiar. It's not the same, but familiar. They said they want you to go to L to S. okay? L2S. And you hold that point. And, and just, something feels familiar. It's not that it's coming back, it's another layer. But that past life holds that in your levels of consciousness, okay? So we're going to start breaking them out. Okay, Paul, you're doing great. A few more minutes, and Spirit. Wait, what? Okay, for instance, are you seeing something repetitive? Because they're saying that there's something about with rainbows. Now, did you know somebody on the other side that liked color? Because all of a sudden I just see rainbow. Now, what's weird is that this rainbow has no color. So they could have just been a person that was very depressed. They said that you knew somebody that felt awkward. You resonated with this person that felt awkward. Oh, I see where they're going with this. And at a very young age, about 1 year old, we have a tendency to look at the people we grow up and we don't realize it, but, I want to be like them, or I resonate with them. And then you have it stuck in your head and you be them. Okay. Okay. So you may not recognize it now. It may come to you later. Do you know anybody? Now, it's funny. When Spirit tells me George, it usually means there's a spirit guide, but there might be actually a George in your life. And because I hear, hey, buddy, it's me, it's George. So I'm looking, and it is the actions that they had to take. The actions, what were you saying? Was that they made themselves incompatible. They pushed people away. They have been in a situation where you are not able to connect with them because they don't want to connect. They literally put that wall up, but you don't want that. You did as a child, you saw that, you recognized that, and that's what you thought. So again, L2S for that one. Is that correct? Oh, okay. What else? Actions. Depressed. Yeah, we said that. Do you get depressed? Do you get depressed? Okay. And answer Chrissy, yes, Chrissy, you can. There's a fear of judgment. So you get depressed and there's a fear of judgment. Okay. The fear of judgment. Can you ready to heal that? No, understand that's kind of linked to what you're healing. And if you heal those and you still feel like the fear of judgment come up, then you're going to have to make a private reading or, get onto one of the shows and we can do this again. And yeah, there's a lot of instability. It's connected to that. So again, when you're doing R1S, also feel like that everything's unstable, just like it quivers. Because when you look at it, I want you to calm it down. Okay. Good job, Gaia. Chrissy, we've been looking for you, sweetheart. Strangest thing is that I can't tell in my PayPal whether or not I did not look back far enough because I can't remember. I think you paid for a reading for $7. And did you pay again? Did you pay twice? I just need to clarify this because I don't know. And yes, you can pay for a reading if you want. That's fine. Let me look. Now, what's interesting, when I'm giving a reading to people, it will sound similar to you because one of the templates things that we have is that we're all archetypes. We have all of these things that we go through, and we all know about emotions. So if you see to yourself going, I kind of feel that way, and I just gave a healing tool, you use the healing tool on yourself. It's not going to hurt. It will actually help. And certain things that remembrance of the past, you were meant to be on the show to listen to it, and because it's supposed to trigger something for you, if that makes any sense. Okay. Now, Chrissy, just to let you know, we have to figure out yeah, I'll have to look because I don't know if I owe you 7 or if that's part of the old thing. Either way, if you want a reading, you can pay and we'll work out the other part and ahead of time. So Sonia is next. Sonia Bees. Okay. I'm not sure exactly how that's paid, Sonia, but like if you pay through the link, then they won't take money out. But I don't know how you're paying, or whether you're paying it's not a service, but a product. But they take out a hefty fee every time. You're not the only one. Other people do it. But I know when they use different links and like that, not everybody it happens. So Sonia, and then James is next, and after James is Christina. Okay. Now I got to get the right screen. Okay. Sweetheart, what would you like? Marie, what would you like? What do you want me to talk about? What do you want? You can call. We can just do a cold. You can tell me what you want. Oh, you're doing fine. The old link's perfect. Don't change. From the old link. Really? That doesn't make sense because that link has always worked. I don't understand. Okay, never mind. We'll figure that out. So what do you want to work on? Let me know. And remember, anyone who want a free read, regardless if you can stay or not, if you wrote me, I'll do it. And it'll go on to the big screen. And then you can look it up. You just have to be patient enough to look through it. I'm not going to remember the timestamps. Now, could you just get random? You got it, sweetheart. All right. So Spirit knows that the issue that you're going through, it is continuous. And I'll say, have you grown? Yes. Is there anything we can do to help her really speed that along? Do another angle? Yes. Okay. So if we were to look at how you feel attacked, attack. You need to attack. Oh, you need to attack. You are feeding them. Oh, just bear with me for a second. There's people I've met in my life that thrive on the response of negativity from people. When I began to realize this is how they got fed, I had to get rid of them out of my life because it was hurting me and not helping. Why should I feed them? And so do you feel like they push you to the point where you have to attack back? You got to be pushed to go be something you don't want to be? Does that sound correct? Because, okay, so this is what I'm seeing. You're sitting in your chair. You're laughing, you're joking. You're like, when we do that, we talk. And all of a sudden, the energy of the person comes in and they want attention, or they want to see if they can get your attention. I feel like a 3-year-old happens to walk into the room and kind of, I want to see if I can push a button. Okay. And then you explode. And when that happens, you then go, and you're just like, and they're like, well, why are you acting that way? And you're like, but that's what they wanted. You are giving them the results they want. Now, even though you're holding back, and let's say you're going to still be nice and you're going to overcome it. I don't want you to be an overcomer. I want you to heal your shit so that you don't have to hold that as a root. But overcoming is good to some degree. Now, you're holding it in. Your body is going to start taking a shit because emotions, when emotions go off that are less than love, that lower frequency causes a toxin. And if it stays in the body too long, your body will begin to respond very sickly. Okay. And like, for instance, people will work really hard and then they're going to go on vacation, and then they go on vacation and they have heart attacks and bad shit happen and all of this. Or they feel like that they have to constantly work and then they're taking a day off and they got to punish themselves. Okay. Those emotions will kick your ass in many different ways. You be good. And all of a sudden, you can feel them doing it. You're like, I'm not participating. I'm not doing this. But they just, and all of a sudden your body will like starts producing these toxins of these emotions. And they said that the main thing that you're feeling is that you get very cloudy thinking, and then you can't help but to fall into it. They said that if we were to help pull the trigger that made you respond the way they wanted, then you could get stronger. And I said, okay, where do you want her to do for that? Is that where you want her to hold? Is it not? Okay. Where did the happy go? Okay. So this is like when you're having a personal healing with me, I'll walk you step by step by step by step, which is you're happy. Okay. And then this all shit starts to happen. And then it starts to go. That right when it starts to go, that means your happy's going away. And right when it starts to go, I want you to focus there. And then you're going to watch how all of a sudden it leads to cloudy thinking. And then you're going to think cloudy thinking. You're thinking, but I can't think because I can't think. That is cloudy thinking. And you just have to understand how you do it. Now, your tool will be our 1D. Right wrist, first position, nice and deep. Okay. And you're going to do that, and you're going to hold that. And because it is in the aura, in the morphogenic field, in the spirit body, it's such a habit that you do. We want to pull it not only out of the strategy, but out of the program. And you got to catch when you go into that habit. So when this shit begins to happen, or it's coming, ooh, shit, it's coming. I need you to hold R1D, because when you know it's coming, okay, you're like, oh, it's coming, and you're holding R1D, you're going to look at yourself and pose limitations. I'm not participating this time, or I'm going to have to show my love. And this is where the old layers start to come up, because when you begin to heal that out, you're going to realize you craved that attention of love, and you're getting it, but it's actually driving you crazy. So when you come to the realization that, fuck, I just wanted love, I wanted some attention, but I don't really want it because I hate it, you're going to then hold R2S, nice and soft. And you're going to go, and you're going to think about that. And you're like, fuck, because it shows up as despair. And you're going to start healing the other part of the perspective. Okay. You can do this. Again, if not, you know how to find me. And you know how to set an appointment and would go that route. Where, when? So the panic is when you see it coming. The panic is even before you see it coming. Okay. So it's like you're sleeping. You wake up to start your day, and you start, your body, not your mind, your body's consciousness will start to kick in. And it's like, oh my God, I'm panicking because I know the same shit, different day. Oh my God. Okay. Because that's going to happen, then they said you go to that level, which is then R2, but it's deep, okay? Nice and deep. Remember, there's a difference between R2S, that's soft. That's, oh shit, it's coming, to R2D, deep, which is, my body is screaming because it knows it's got a same shit, different day. I hope that makes sense. Worthless. Who? You, them. They just said that you believe that you don't want them to feel like a worthless piece of shit like you were felt. And you've made a declaration, I'm not going to do that to anybody. And by doing that declaration, you put that energy into it, and that's why you have unhealthy boundaries. That's why they can do what they're doing. That's why it doesn't matter what the fuck you say, because they're just going to keep doing it. You got to reclaim that power. And the energy of the body then will say, what are you doing? instead of you going, what are you doing? Or you're like, oh, what are you doing? You know, you're out of alignment with your energies. It doesn't mean you have to become a bitch. It just means own your power so that it can create a boundary, so that this is the beginning of how they're going to know you is she's owning her shit. She is holding her power. She is there. Okay. Wow. This is deep, Marie. Apparently you're really ready to reclaim that power. You're going to have to hold R2S nice and soft and think about that. I don't want to hurt anybody. And then feel how, oh my God, I just, because I know what it feels like to be worthless, and then focus on the worthless. Okay. And then just until you get that out. Now, that one's a little trickier, but you can do it. You know, you can take a big chunk out of it anyway. Make a big difference if that makes sense to you. Okay. Let me see. Spirit is showing me blue. Why are you showing me blue? All on Marie. Hold on. All right. Blue because of... So you're shaming yourself. They said fear and shaming. So is that misplaced loyalty? Oh, you're not loyal to yourself. So you're misplacing the loyalty. You're giving it to the person. Oh, wow. Maria, this is huge. This is the bullshitter, the people that were mean to you when you were growing up, and you put this onto yourself to keep yourself safe. They said that needs to go, and they said R1S. You're going to have to re-listen to this last part because it is so there. It's right there. And listen to it again because they said that there's extra gems. When you begin to hold the point, re-listen to it. Because you are, it's right there. Wow, they gave you a ton of stuff that usually not that much during a healing, or you get to heal yourself. But I know you can do it because I've seen you do marvelous things to you, for yourself. Okay, now, yes, because and then that you just got to reclaim your power. That was really good. I need to find James. James, you need to give me what you want to talk about. Okay. Okay. So let me know, James, what it is that you want your reading to be, because you're next. And I need to get back to the right screen. God, I'll be glad when I get my new glasses. Contacts just don't cut it for me. I don't like the old ones because I can't see out of them anyway. Scroll, Brenda, scroll. There's James. Paid. Why am I so... Dang it. Okay. We're going to look at the mothership on this and see what happens. My life has been... Okay. So James says, why am I so dang attached to Jamie? Okay, he's been working on different things. Now, I'm going to ask, all of the healing tools that I give, have you brought them down to 0? Yes, you've done very good for yourself. Now we have to look at a particular thinking. He says, everything I'm doing to get my life together has been stopped, dead in my tracks. Why? Interesting. Okay. Oh, okay, so I'm seeing a very much of a peasant days. But you came riding in on a horse in that life. Somebody, see, now what's funny is wow, she's taking the same attribute she did then. Because she's like, I don't need any help, blah, 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 blah. She seemed very nasty and narcissistic then. And energy right there in that past life. She's trying to save herself because women were really nothing then. Okay, so in that life, she feared for her life. You guys have traveled many times together. At least 3, not many, I guess 3. Well, okay, keep going. You found beauty in her because of your archetype of being a hero in that life. And I feel like you prettied her up and she, got cleaned up. She didn't look like a peasant. You kind of helped her give it a name. But she went further because she got a taste of that, and her eye was set on something else. Now, why does that matter in this life? Because of what James has to heal from that life. Is this more of a Kundalini thing? It is part of the mothership. During in the third chakra, in your level of consciousness of I can't hold my power when it comes to her. Well, that would make sense. And it has to do with blame. You're taking it, you're giving it. She's taking it, she's giving it. No. There's some other story going on. Let me figure it out. No. What about here? Oh my God. You have great pleasure in being abused. And in that life, you had great pleasure of being abused. I mean, you're repeating that cycle. And it didn't make sense then, and you're still doing it because it's very expansive. So it means great. Is it? Oh, okay. Great pleasure and expansive spiritual wisdom and conscious of the university of life. Okay. This life, you don't like to be abused and you're ready to move on. That life, it meant in the paradigm that this woman loves you. It's so effed up back then. Just putting it out there. So back then, that your past life is showing me you loved to be abused because the belief system back then was that women, if they reject you, that means they want you. It is so screwed up back then. And no matter how much she hurt you, damaged you, you're like, I'd still love you. But it was like a chase. It was part of the chase. It's part of that caveman chase. And when that happens, the energy of it is that it's old. Now, you're tired in this lifetime. You're like, I don't want to chase anymore. I didn't want to do this anymore. So we have to look at how your past life is affecting your cloudy thinking today. So does it show up as a paradigm in that way? It shows up as a classic. What are you talking about? I'm not insulting you. It just says a classic nincompoop. I have no idea what that means. It's just that she is your false self-assuredness. When in this life you were starting to evolve and become a grown-up and being more responsible, she gave you a support enough that it made you feel like you could do it. So she gave you assuredness, but it was false self-assuredness, okay? You guys worked together until you didn't. You don't want to lose that assuredness that you felt and you had in the beginning of the relationship. So even though it doesn't work anymore, there's a party that doesn't want to lose that. And so you then go back and you romanticize and think of all of her good qualities, and you talk yourself into going back only based on the fact that it has to do with I have false self-assuredness about our relationship, but it's also false self-assuredness that she gave me confidence, and I don't want to lose that confidence. And they're saying you have to let go of that connection of feeling like, you have to, I would define what assuredness is and understand false self-assuredness is that like self-justification, talking yourself into it. Look up self-justification. Either way, you're going to hold R1S, okay? Right wrist, first position, soft. Do you want him to think that? No. Okay, for the Kundalini one and the ninth chakra and the situation is that notice how you felt empowered when you saved her. You felt empowered when she would reject. Now, you may not remember that, but deep down, maybe your body does. Because of that, they're saying they want you to do R, number 2, see, 2D, R2D. And you kind of have to put yourself into an imaginary state because I know your body knows this energy. I really do. Okay. So it's important to understand how you do that. And you, again, measure it, get it down to 0. Because it was in that state of the R1S that created overtime that is just hopeless to let go. So you got stuck in a loop that this is never going to end. This is never going to end, you know. Does she use, she does she use shame? I'm sure she does. But does she use shame in a way that she thinks that it empowers her? Okay, it doesn't feel like an outward shame. Okay. Because the shame aspect in this case is that when she does it, you don't recognize it, which then hooks you back in because it hooks into the things of the past life. If you were to recognize how she says what she says in a shameful way, and then you're like, oh, she just did it, then you're going to hold R1D, okay, nice and deep. But that's what you focus on. Oh, she just did it. And then feel it. Oh, did you see that? The camera just froze. And then you're going to hold that point, okay? Yeah. Who? You have some past life spirit friends that is saying, you can do it, mate. Oh, what are you, Australian too? Yeah. You have past life friends, spirit friends. Oh, I love this world. But it's clear and simple. You can do this because you have people from your past life that is helping you. You have your loved ones that you knew from this life helping you. You have your past selves. You have, many people helping you. Okay. Let me see. You might want to pick up, like now a little doggy just came up to me and says, give him a stone. Take something like a stone or something something small, a gem, a crystal. Your sister's got a ton of them, whatever. And just have something to remind you. Rub it. Put all you're grateful for. You're grateful for. You're grateful for. You're grateful for seeing what she just did. You're like, oh, I saw it. Be grateful that you have healing tools. Grateful that you want something more. Grateful that, and it's about receiving, okay? It's grateful I caught it. It's grateful that I am doing things for myself. It's stuff that you've received. Keep using this, okay? You're grateful. You're grateful. What else? Look it up. Sometime, if you get very confused, pull that stone out and understand you've got this. Make that stone mean something. You've got this. Make it's going to be like a constant reminder, especially when you start to wander. You've got this. Let it be a reminder. Okay? Thank you for honoring me. All right. So the next person, I'm going to sneeze, is Christina Peacock. And then after Christina will be Autumn Hale, and after Autumn will be Crystal Allen, and then After that will be Cecilia Garcia. I always want to say your name wrong every time, girl. You know that. But, you know, I love you. So, Christina Peacock, you had asked, welcome, James. You had asked, what am I needing to heal from that I can't remember or am repressing? Also, I think I accidentally paid twice last time. However, you want to make it work. Okay, we'll work that out. I can do something. My ex, already. Know that my ex wants to do anything else. Okay, so we need to know that they know what you want. Gotcha. Okay, so I'm just listening. Okay. The word catch-22 comes into play. Does this make sense right now? Catch-22? I can't even remember what a catch-22 is. Isn't that funny? It's like damned if you do and damned if you don't. Huh. Catch-22. I'm going to stop this real quick. Those of you who have having trouble paying, understand that there is a link. I know Amy pointed out that you sometimes can't see what I wrote above, but here is a direct link to my PayPal. You should be able to just click that, put money into it, unless you have to say what country. If I live in Australia, if you came from the US, you can still pay in US. That's not a big deal. You can pay in Australia. I know how that can be confusing, AUD, but there's a link right there to answer any of your issues. So, Virginia Floros, notice that I put a link up right there. Okay, and it's a PayPal link. Now I'm going to get back to Chrissy. Thank you very much for waiting. Okay, Chrissy. All I hear is, I don't know what that is. It like wants to cut off my ability to stay centered, stay happy. It's and I'm asking, is it a din? No. Is there a electromagnetic tower? Is there? This was within herself. Oh, what the heck? Is her electromagnetic frequency up? No. What are you trying to tell me? She has a mega belief. And that belief is being affected by, which affects her radiant circuits. Oh, gotcha. And it affects her spectrum. So we have our own electromagnetic energy here. And then you have electromagnetic frequency of the world. Somehow a belief somehow affects you to protect yourself from those energies. And according to this, you have a belief that's doing that. Radiant circuits or strange flows, let me just explain what it's really doing. Radiant circuits are our joys. It's the energy of joy that comes in. Okay, we are hardwired for joy, but yours is disrupted by a belief, okay, that changes the electromagnetic frequency. And we have to figure out this belief because it causes you to hang down in the lower frequency energies, which lowers your vibration. Even though you're doing everything, you pull yourself up by the bootstraps, it's not working. Like, for instance, people's energy, sometimes they'll feel like their lower half of their body doesn't exist, or it just feels like no energy is flowing through there. That's the belt flow energy that goes to the strange flows. There's the radiant circuits that have to do with the yin and yang regulatory. Now they're saying this cuts all of those off, which means that joy energy is not feeding you the way you're supposed to be fed. Joy radiant circuits feed you. You understand this, people? It helps you do everything you possibly can. Okay, so now we're looking a little bit further. Now we need to find this belief. Okay, was this belief created in this lifetime? Ha, thank God. Does it have to do with anything with epigenetics, genetic, past life, this time? And so then this means you picked it up in the environment. So you saw it from where particularly? From the family. So inside the family, the belief formed. Is this a paradigm? No. I heard, where's my place? Is that a belief that we're looking for? No, you don't know where you're fit in. No, you do. You just, it's like you have the role. They're showing me the role. You could have the role of the gesture or whatever it is. But they says they know, you know your role. But sometimes you feel like you don't belong. And that's because you were born to stand out. It's like you're trying to fit into a puzzle that you're not meant to fit. But yet this is part of the family that you're supposed to be in. And this is where people get very confused, because when you are in a situation where you are born into a family and your soul chose them, but yet there is not a lot of connections. The thing is that you chose them not about love. You chose them about the issues you need to resolve from. Okay. You're empathetic too. Okay. And if you came in with that, then that would make sense, is that you're supposed to gather and understand different points of view. Okay. And yeah, and you're coming out of it, girl. You are. It's just that you have got to understand that we got to figure out this belief system so that you can let the strange flows come in, so that you can start to get yourself into a different position. Okay. They help support you and change you. Now, the whole part inside of me is changing. It's quivering. So that means my body is creating a physiology response. I want to get a headache now. So when you are an empath and you understand their points of view, then your body goes into great stress because it knows that that's not you, but you can't stop it. So that's part of that belief. So does this part of the belief have to do with where you end and they begin? So have you taken on a lot of their beliefs? And are we looking at one of those? Oh. Just give me more information. Oh, that's easy to talk about. Okay. So I was married before, and the energy was sloth. No physical exercise. Let's not do anything. Let's not go anywhere. And that's not how my body was built. But I was in that, and my body started to fall apart. Then I ended up in a different relationship, which is I'm married to now. And the energy is very energetic. Okay. So you're talking about different elements. The sloth was more like earth, which is slow and moving, where this is fire, which is boom, boom, boom. And my body is happier and healthier that I'm here. Okay. So they said the word sluggish for your family. And that is energetically, you get very frustrated. And so they're saying that you look and I want you to say, if you're judging that that's them and they're sluggish and that they're not making anything themselves or blah, 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 it's not about them. You're meant to look at that and go, I can take the catalog of life and say, that ain't it. Oh, that could be it. And it's not that you're choosing the grass is greener on the other side. You are choosing more of my true identity is this. Okay. So if you believe that you can't get out of that, tap it out. If you believe that this is all there is, tap it out. If you believe that you have to honor this, tap it out. You can love, but you don't have to be swallowed alive. You can love, but you don't have to live the way everybody else lives. Okay. It is moving in that particular direction you want. Now, when you start to tap those out, it could actually bring back the joy, the strange flows that your body wants. They said the biggest thing that you have picked up as a belief is that it's hopeless. Overtime hopeless. Just give it up. It's just hopeless. You need to define that word in your daily life. When you look at people, you think they're hopeless, or you think of your life, you can't get ahead, you're hopeless. Oh, no matter what I do, it just goes back to this. It's hopeless. How you define it, and every avenue you do, you need to go in and you need to say, even though I see this as hopelessness, I deeply, completely love and accept myself. Use EFT to be your Kickstarter to get this. You may even want to go on my website and download, you can watch the video and look at the instructions, and that's cord switching. Okay, the cord switching to your family, the cord switching to sloth, the cord switching to that belief that everything's hopeless. And because this goes on a different scale. See, now all of a sudden energy is starting to flow through. So they're saying that they like those two ideas, that if you were to engage and to release and to let go, you are going to become a happier, healthier soul. And you're going to let the strange flows come back to you. Okay? Yes. And I heard, yeah, this is damage control. Yes. Okay, you can do that. That's good. You need to go in and notice how the word, oh, I hate when that happens. Okay. It may just be some simple word, but it is very much registered. Why is my people, spirits, get behind me. Anyways, tap. Even though I hate this, you may not think you hate it, but if it's a word you use, even though I despise that attitude, get in there, get it out. You need to do several rounds. You need to get to 0, and you need to get it completely gone, because if you don't, you're going to have an issue all around. But you got to disrupt the frequencies in your body, because your inner world creates your outer world. And if that belief and those stuff are in there, I believe that I hate this, I believe that I don't like this, you need to heal that out so that you can change the frequency out here. Okay. This doesn't change until you inside change here. This is the objective field. This is subjective. And the out here doesn't change until you change in here. Now you can change this out here by connecting and meditating and tuning into that frequency, and your nervous system changes, but sometimes that's too hard for a person. So you go in and you change the programs. You got this. Thank you for honoring me. Okay. And I said that person is next is Autumn Hale. Identify yourself and tell me what it is that you want to talk about. Autumn Hale. After Autumn will be Crystal Allen, and then after Crystal will be Garcia, and then after that will be Jasmine, JZ, and then Virginia. Okay. So getting back to Crystal Hale, or Autumn Hale. You're welcome, Chrissy. Autumn Hale, where are you, babe? There you are. What is it that you want me to look at, investigate? What would you want? Some spiritual investigation. What do you want? Okay. Let me know. I'll give you a few seconds to type that out. Your family says that they're here for you. They're not, you get one representative out of all people that are around, but they just wanted to say hi real quick. How to free myself. Okay. Okay. I would like to know how to free myself from the familiar weight that paralyzed me in fear. Ooh, good one. Okay. Something happened at 1 month old in the womb? No, out. So 1 month old. You made it at 1 month old in the environment. Is that where we're going? Environment? There was all this habits. And so the family that did all these habits set it up. This is how they worry. Okay, this is what they do. This is how they bully. This is how they have guilt and shame. Okay, so now you being a fresh baby, ooh, you knew that you were happy, but then you knew that if you were happy, it was very unsafe in the environment. How interesting is that? Huh. Are you having vivid dreams? The energy in that space is worthlessness. Okay. Now, as I'm looking, this is connecting to, and it says, if you know what your paralyzed me in fear, okay, do you know what that is? And if so, I'm going to go directly there. The reason they said that is because if you want to release yourself from that, I would tell you use, see, this is where I'd say make an appointment with me so you know what I'm talking about when I say hope therapy. So in this case, I can't do that because I would tell you to hold on to L2D because they're saying you have the energy of knowing these pictures inside your mind, even if you don't dream them, exertion. You know what the energy of exertion is. Yeah, I'm sure you probably feel them in your nightmares. Okay, and it's they said it's how you know that you can feel it coming, and it's in the action that makes this fear more of a phobia, and that's creating the paralyzedness. Now, hope therapy would start to pull those out, but all I can tell you to do is that start tapping to disrupt that. Notice how it's exertion. Maybe putting your hand on your forehead, and when you start to feel, because you got to start to consciously recognize how your body's consciousness knows it. Okay. When the exertion of the energy happens, your body goes, oh shit, we got to correct ourselves. And it goes into self-limitations and correcting yourself. And it puts you into paralyzation. Because you know you have to defend yourself, but you don't know how to defend yourself because you were so young that literally it just froze you in your tracks because that exertion of the power. Now, it may not even been physical. It could have been just booming of words, the booming of their attitudes, but they really are telling you about the word exertion. Now, in the household, it's like nobody could be allowed to be themselves. I feel like there had to be eggshells. I felt like they had to have it a certain way. It's like there was one person in command that it's like when you have a nice sheet on the bed and you grab and you twist and then the whole sheet, okay, that's what it looked like in the house. It's just one person. But you can feel this. And they said that I'm looking any other particular emotion that would lock it in so well. Overtime hopelessness, because you can't make it stop. Because you can't make it stop, and you know this, again, I would end up doing R1S because it's about overtime hopelessness. But what they said also is that you invalidate yourself first before they can. You're like, And even if you don't have that environment ever again, your body's consciousness knows that moment so well that it keeps reprogramming and saying, this is how you have to live. You have to survive. You have to survive. And we need to disrupt that program so that no matter where you're at, because no matter what safe environment you're in, your body is going to look for triggers. It's like, I mean, even in your dreams, your dreams are trying to help you understand. You may even want to hire me to look through your nightmares so that I can tell you on a soul level what that means, because your soul is trying to get your attention. When shit hits the fan, your soul is asking you, can you heal it now? You couldn't then. Can you heal it now? You didn't then. Can you heal it now? It literally will keep repeating itself because it wants you to resolve to evolve. Yeah, like Groundhog Day. Oh, geez. Okay, so if you have to be in that situation, you can still heal and evolve. And so that you can stop getting caught up into that, because you start, again, it's about how your body, oh, see, it's like, holy shit, I don't want to assimilate this. We have to help you heal how your body don't want to assimilate. It's starting to take my throat. The fear can feel like an attachment because you're attached to the emotion. You're attached to this frequency, and we have to get you to into those stages. EFT will be your best friend. Re-listen to this part, take it step by step, especially how you recognize the emotion, tap it down until you don't know it anymore. That way you're like, okay, it doesn't have to own me, it doesn't have to be in my face. You would benefit by looking at my website, and Amy can give you that website. And there's healing tools. Under healing tools, there's something called Pick Myself Off the Floor. And the healing tool of picking yourself off the floor is really what you need to do. You need to kind of go back in your mind to that day, or to whatever day, or whatever, because it's repeating itself. Your energy is on the floor. You need to pull that back up, reclaim yourself. Okay. Yeah. Definitely a healing there. Crystal Allen, you have paid, my dear. Can you tell me if there's any more negatives? Yes, I will look. Okay, Crystal, you've been waiting. I'm going now. First of all, I'm going to ask you, do you still hear them and know them the same way? Because if you do, we need to get you to unhook your attention, your sensory system from them, so that they can't have any power over you. Okay. Or you don't have to call any more in. Okay. Now, as we look, fuck. Your body is saying it's very fearful. So it's holding on a memory of fear. Okay. Now I'm going to just start to mirror the rest of your house. Your daughter's belief that she knows or sees one or thinks one, understand that she needs to detach from that, because if a person is not really using healing tools or not really into this, and then they're told something fearful, that fear is always going to be in their mind. And then they're going to start hearing and thinking things that are not there. You understand? Because a belief system can do a projection, and so there's just all this chaos in your space, but it's just based on your fears and your beliefs. Okay, old programs. Now I'm going through and I'm looking and I'm mirroring and I'm looking. You have a lot of light energy in certain spaces they're illuminating. They're helping to clear. I mean, literally, you're doing really good at your house. As I look at your back door, okay, it looks good. Now I'm just looking outside. I'm looking for ley lines through your house. Your fear of something in the roof, the attic, you have an idea, you have a thought, it's stuck there. Okay. And as I'm asking Archangel Michael and all of them to look at this, is there anything there? No. But she has a picture of scared fear. So what means is that you can create something out of nothing inside the head. I'm not trying to say you're crazy. I'm just saying, oh my God, if you know what you imagine what it looks like, it's called the construction side. And the construction side, yes. Okay. She says, yes, I still do. You need to go and you need to heal that out. Okay. You need to tap how you know it. So you looking at the picture, you're going to take in your eyes and look up to keep your head still, look to the upper right. And you're like, oh, even though I still see them. Okay. And then you're going to look straight down to the left. And you're going to think, oh my God, I fear them. Okay. You're going to do emotional freedom technique. And then you're going to look up to the right again, tap it out, just keep doing several rounds. And you're going to have to do the long EFT, which is the rolling of the eyes, the humming, and the counting. We need to unhook those pictures. Okay. because you have a memory of what you've had, and then you're reconstructing it, but your brain does not know because it looks at a mirror. So your brain does not know anything about what you tell it. Your brain only knows what your beliefs are and what you tell it. So if you start to disrupt those things inside of you, then your inner world starts to change, and then you stop this out here. Okay. There's a lot of different beliefs and philosophies and people out there that have. I'm telling you to come from it from this angle. It's worth a try. It's not even worth a try. It's worth it, because I can tell you, the more that you get to disconnect all those pictures and those feelings that are negative and scary and fearful, then what happens is that you bring in more light, and your light expands out. What do you do when you go into a dark room? You turn on the light. The light doesn't die, or the dark doesn't die. It just starts to infuse it. When I'm helping people to heal those goobers, you turn on the light switch in that area. And that light switch is the light of love. It's a high frequency. And literally things will begin to change. Okay. So I would say, do I physically see the goobers, physically at your house? No. Do I see constructed fear that anything can return? Yes, you have one. Do I see that you have other people that you talk to, and they finally get you and understand you, and they're holding on to things? Yes. It's just, you've got to stop the belief. Remember, when you accepted and believed, you gave your willpower, and then it creates. You have to go in and you have to disrupt it. I think you said attic. I can't see. Are you talking about Natic? I'm assuming attic. Yeah, your energy. I see how you have fear that there's something up there. Okay, this is that. It's like, it's all the nooks and crannies that you can't physically see. And people will say, it's not there, and you can argue, because you're like, if I could record the proof, then you would know. But understand is that even if you believe they're there, and even if other people say they're there, I'm telling you, if you take your energy field and you disconnect it from them, they got nothing to hold on to. And then you can go and do a house clearing if you have to go further, but you've done a lot of those. I'm looking at all the light even in that one part of your house is actually going into the attic. You have all of these barriers. It looks good. Anyway, the next person is Garcia. And did she write anything down? Nope. Miss Garcia, where are you at? So get your question up, what you want, Miss Garcia. Whoops. Nope, she didn't write it there. And just double checking. No matter what, if you sent me an email and you can't stay, I'm going to still give you that 1 minute free read, and then it's your responsibility to come back and pay attention to the time of the show. And then, it's towards the end. I'm going to do it that way. Okay. Oh, forgot. I think you said 11. Hold on. And now I'm in the wrong one. Good one, Brenda. Yeah, she paid 11. Yeah, we're good. I would love a healing, and what tools to use to develop more of my intuition. I've been feeling strange, and my dogs wake up at 2 a.m. for the last 2 weeks. Okay, ready? Talk to me, dog. And the dogs. Do you have any neighbors? The reason why I say that is because The reason I say that is because even if you do, those dogs are very sensitive. They're picking up negative energy from the neighbors. Now, it doesn't mean the neighbors are going to do anything. I don't feel like they're going to hurt, break, it's nothing. It's just these dogs are very sensitive, and the one dog says it's there, it's right there, but it's hearing and it's knowing this lower frequency of whoever there is a negative person, a negative person. How many? Just one. And the dog's very sensitive. Now, why are they choosing two? They're not. The universe is causing them to do this because they want you to pay attention to something. Okay, what do you want her to pay attention to? And, you have to fill your quota. So I need to ask, do you feel like people have to make you feel like shit, or you feel like shit? You just made to feel like shit. Does that make sense? Because yes. Now here's the thing. The reason I say that is because if you haven't done a good job of making yourself feel like shit that day, you've got to have it show up. So for instance, you're like, oh man, I got to go work tomorrow. And I feel like shit. Okay. And you just didn't fulfill your quota, then that may have to make you feel like shit. The dogs will start to bark. For whatever reason, we know it's the neighbor, but Spirit says we make them bark because you haven't stopped believing that you're helpless and that shit happens and you're made to feel like shit. And making you feel like shit is part of your journey. It's part of your strategy. It's part of who you are. So just, does that sound familiar to you? Now, they said, okay, we're going to read what you wrote again. So I feel like, okay, so that's that. When it comes to your intuition, you have to recognize when it's cloudy thinking. Okay? When I'll have somebody, they're holding their pencil, I don't know what cloudy thinking thinks like. I can't think. Duh. That's it. You just told yourself what to do. Now, you're right. You do have it's like, I don't need to tolerate this, but you have an indifference shield. It's not the same as putting a heart wall on, but it's like an indifference shield. And this indifference shield happens, okay? It's right here. And if you stay indifferent, you're going to be fine. But if you start to let your guard down, you will begin to panic. This actually interferes with your intuition because you're still living in your ego. So how many things is she over-identifying with that causes this? 2. The first one that you over-identify with is suspicions. Do you believe in suspicions, my dear? Because if you believe in the suspicions, all of a sudden my eyesight's out of focus. Oh, well, that's an example. That makes a lot of sense. So if you believe in suspicions, you need to heal that. Where would she need to hold? They're saying, hold up. Okay, I'm holding up. Your suspicions creates a false self-assuredness. If I think this, therefore, and it's a false self-assuredness. So they say they want you to notice that you need to heal false self-assuredness. Is that the 2 things? Where do you want her to go? Because those 2 agree with the fact that you believe that you're irrelevant in the matter. Can you see how this connects together? So you're going to hold R2D. Right wrist, second position, nice and deep. And you're going to think, oh, I feel irrelevant. Oh, but that's based on the fact that I have suspicions. Oh, think about suspicions. But then that has to do with, I got to have false self-assuredness. I got to make myself feel assured of myself. And then you go on from there. Does this make sense? Okay. Because you created that so that you would take action to stand up for yourself. But as you begin to evolve and want to include your spiritual self and you want to move into the next part of yourself, the action has to be, the foundation of that action has to be completely different, which means you have to heal how you created that to survive. And once you resolve that out, then you can take that energy back to create better. Now, is there anything else specific for that intuition that she needs to remove? No. All right, now talk to it. Okay. They said that you feel that you stored. What about the compatibility? You stored something inside of you that affects it could affect your health, it could affect your life because it's a program. But you stored a specific emotion deep inside that affects your compatibility. And that is that you feel you have to correct yourself. You have to correct yourself, okay? It's in that feeling of how you got to correct yourself that creates an anxiety. So as soon as you feel it, I got to correct myself, then there's things, anxiety that takes over. And then you go into the conscientious of right and wrong. And then you have a battle whether you want to do it your way, their way, right way, wrong way, whatever. You just, okay? And then you begin to stifle yourself, and then people call you stubborn. What I just said. You're going to heal that. And you're going to go to our number 2, S. Okay. What? Did I just confuse her? No, confusion. Somebody put you in confusion? Somebody put you in confusion. Is it the part of that making feel like shit? So you put yourself in confusion? Now they want you to heal that I have to make myself feel like shit. So you put yourself in a state of confusion, and then you go into I have to make myself feel like shit. So all the things we just said lead up to that, which affects your intuition. Yes, I can see that. Okay, so how would you like her to heal this? You don't want to feel awkward. And so it's just easier to check out and put yourself in confusion. Because you do that because you can feel, and I'm not even going to tell you, it's that person that does resonant broadcast. They broadcast their bullshit out, and you don't want to, come and sync with that. You're like, I don't need to come and sync with that. But you can't help it. Your body's like, I got to obey. And you're like, no. And so then you don't like that awkward feeling, and you put your state of self in confusion. You're like, oh, make myself feel like shit. And they tell you that you really need to hold L2S. 1, 2, nice and soft. Because they said that's all linked to how you got to live their life their way. Okay? They're getting really detailed in this show, aren't they? Have you been having any vivid dreams lately? Because they said that it might be about, okay, so I don't know. They're just going to be, they're conscientious, you're self-conscious, conscientious about it. It's, if so, then they're saying that is trying to tell you where your happiness is going, like it disappears. So you may want to send me, I do dream interpretations. It's the same cost as anything else. So, but with dream interpretations, I may lower the price, but usually people will get a 15-minute dream interpretation. I may just put, because normally dream interpretations, because they require me hours of working on it. I don't know yet, but anyway, you really should look at it. It's not what you think it means. Vivid dreams about dead ones. Yeah. It's not about what it means. You need to know more information about that. And they said that you're doing really well and they're proud of you. So yes. Okay. Well, thank you very much for honoring me. Wow, they're really getting detailed today, aren't they? Please pay attention if you want a reading or anything like that. It is pinned down below that you can send me an email, and I'll give you 1 minute free read. But only one question. You only get 1 minute time. You want a healing, or a paid expedite reading, then look at the up above. Jazz, you're next. Tell me what you want. And then after Jazz, Virginia Flora. So get your question. Oh, she already told me. Oh, well, goody. Somebody wrote it in there. Yay. If you can write what your question inside, that would be wonderful. Jazz. All right, Miss Stunner. What do you want to talk about, sweetheart? And Amy, I'm not sure you're at, but you need to correct a couple of my pins, please, and answer the question over here. Angela Allen, what we're doing now is, I don't know if you sent it or not, but if you want your free read, because it's so hard for me to see lately, Spirit said, just have you email me a reading, or email me your question, and I'll give you 1 minute free read. Yeah, I know. Thank you, Virginia. I appreciate that. I did see that. No, this is 11 minute, Jazz. I'm just waiting. Because 11 minutes you can get a lot more out of it. If you wrote what you wanted to talk about, okay, so that's hard. I got to go find it. Jazz, did you write it? There you are. So you want to talk about your love life? Because that can be your 1 minute, and we can talk about something else. Oh, okay. Great love, business, kids. Thanks. Okay. Yes. All right. Let's see here. Miss Jazzy. Ooh. Wow. Wow. Are you seeing in 5D? But your body's not adjusting. Okay. It's a lot to take in because a lot more information is coming in. Okay, like I did a healing last night, and now they're getting detail with major detail. We got to get you in sync for one, because that for some reason seems to be affecting every part of you, your love life, your kids, business, whatever. It's affecting the journey that you're on. So we got to recalibrate you. They said that they expanded of the 5D. Now, do you feel like you worry about that to some degree? Because, why is it? Right, there we go. Actually seeing visions before, yeah. So the question then becomes, do you feel like your body is not calibrated? So I'm going to stop this just for a second. Fran, yes, your email had come, and I will be given a free reading. So if you have to go, you can go. More reassured, but still a bit surprising. Okay. All right. Well, anyways, they said that what do you have guilt for? You have guilt because you have these abilities coming in? No. The word guilt came up because you're not living up to some people's standards. Do you know what I'm talking about? Well, should I wait for that? She says, feel like I just have to get used to it, but loving the extra awakening. Good. Feeling more like trusting the universe, and it pays off. Very good. You're welcome, Fran. So we need to know, is there somebody, maybe work? Was it work? Is it yourself? There's a little bit of the work, but there's, what about the people, the family that wanted to put you in a home or wanted to do something, I don't know how to explain that. Why do you want to go there? Because she was talking, okay, because she has guilt. Guilt because she's awakening. You have guilt because you're awakening, and you should be. You're still doing the shoulds about how you're supposed to live your life. Oh, okay, yeah, got a bit of friction with them. Yes. Even if you don't talk to them, or even if you don't share this, even if you don't understand, you are in a space where your body has this in play, how you already respond to them. So it's like an automatic response. So even if you don't talk, it's going to be this automatic response, okay? And then your body goes into panic that they won't let go, they won't let it go. They won't let it go. They won't let go who Jazzy's becoming. They won't let it go. Oh, wow. Is it because of the paradigm? All right, let me see if I can explain this and see if it sounds like it. When you have the old paradigm, the Bible Belt, old belief systems that you're going to die and go to hell if you act a certain way, which is different than the way the cookie cutter world says that you should live because there's too much evil on the planet, or that you're going to be thrown in the nut house, or that how dare you be less. Just follow along just for a moment. You really decided that you're going to wake up and you were born to stand out, Jazz. Let's just face that. You already know that. And some people can't get their head around it, and they refer to you as bad or a bad influence, or bad. There's just some, your gifts and your abilities, they just don't understand. Okay? They just don't understand. And the confusion is what your body is being bothered about, because you're willing to live who you are, because you can't ignore it anymore. Spirit has said, wake up, Jazz, wake up. And you're like, I can't put that genie back in the bottle. Nor should you have to. You got to get to the point where you act mean now, or they think you're acting mean, but it's causing this particular friction. So you're basically hooking yourself up to an old paradigm that's not who you are. You need to go out and find who you are. You need to find out who your friends are. You need to get more in touch with those like-minded groups. And I'm not talking about the crazy ass ones, or the ones that are deep into the fear, or the deep into the goobers, or in the deep into the magic spells and deep. I don't think that's your avenue. I don't go down that road. You don't have to either. All about the movie, All About Steve, is something that I would tell you to look at. You need to find and appreciate all the things that are beautiful about you, because you are amazing. And you will then find more of your purpose, because where you're at, it's hard for you to keep assimilating all of the things that's happening to you, because your body is saying it has to do with them. Now, sometimes you can feel their aggression and stuff like this. We worked together before. I would definitely tell you to hold L2D, left wrist, second position, nice and deep, and hold that. How you feel about them, which they love you, but you're like, how can that even be called love? And it feels like you failed to communicate and demonstrate and say, this is who I am. You're going to go R2D, which is right wrist, second position, nice and deep. Remember to put them on a scale from 0 to 10. And there's a part of the word disdain. I need you to look that up, like contempt and stuff, but look that word up, how it is defined, because there's a part of you that you have to go back in part of your life where you used to disdain being disgraced, disdained of how they treated you, or disdain for certain behaviors. There's disdain. Whatever it is, you look for it. And they said because you need to get that out. You then would hold R2D as well on that one. Okay. When it comes to your love life, you're so busy with that energy, you don't have time for a love life. And all I can say is that once you start to break those down, you'll be becoming more open to a love life. Okay. And we're going to ask Spirit more about this love. Well, God bless it. I don't need that to happen. Oh, well, we'll take this one. There's a part of you that has to make the effort. Great love is worth taking the steps you're guided to take. So the more you fall in love with yourself in the aspect of, I love the fact that I love flowers, or I like to sing, or I like to do this. You fall in love with that. It's okay to like myself. It's okay to love myself. It's okay. And then you make the effort of, just being yourself, putting yourself out there. And they really don't want you to have cards today. God. Okay. Are you telling me to put this deck down? Okay, fine. Freaking won't hold the deck then. Yeah, you just have to deal with some of that awkwardness. You're like, you're focusing too much on wanting kids that it's causing you to miss the point. Okay, it's so you have to heal the fact is that, oh my God, so is there yearning, longing? There's a desperation. I would hold R1S, right wrist, first position, nice and soft. You feel like you're running out of time. I can't figure it out. Hold R3S, the third one, nice and soft, because that's where it's going. You got to go. Sometimes you get very indecisive because your brain goes into, oh my God, I don't have this or whatever. In that indecisiveness, it's caught up in the triple warmer, and you just feel you go into unworthy, insecure, R3S for that as well. We need to get you to stop those little bit of a program so that it can realign you up to having the things that you want in your life. Okay. Because what you think you want and what's coming is more than it's so exciting. But if you keep thinking you have to be here, you're not lining yourself up to what you need. That can be a bit issue thing there. Okay. Fear of letting go of what? Of the idea of having kids. All right. Fear of letting go of the L2D. Left wrist, second position, nice and deep. Get rid of those because they are just going to interfere with you having what you want. Thank you, Diana. So we're going to go into the next one, which is Virginia. And she says, I would like a reading regarding what level of consciousness I'm at and what I need to work on still. If not possible, then it's just a message I need to know. All right, so what level? Now understand the level of consciousness are the chakras. Okay, you got your first 7. You're always going to be working through your 8, which is the archetypes, and then you have the 9th, which is part of the Kundalini, which is connected to the mothership of these big, major effing issues. So they're saying that as your Kundalini is waking up, we're going to go right to the first chakra because they said that the Kundalini is being disrupted. So it's not able to flow the way it's supposed to. So you inside, I'll get there. And each of these chakras have nesting. It has like the 7 chakras inside that first chakra is the 7 chakras. And the way we communicate is that it's how, how are you surviving with your spiritual abilities? How are you surviving with the family? How are you surviving with yourself? So as I'm looking a little deeper for yourself, they said that it's the will, understanding your will and your intention with your heart. Okay. So what they're saying is when you're in the dynamics of this is my space, this is my boundaries. If you don't have any, you're going to be asked to study them. If you are beginning to open up your heart, but yet you have a lot of shields up, then you're going to have to remove those shields. And people are scared by not understanding that. They will think, well, I need those protections. Well, they were created by the ego, which, it's you don't need the ego to be in charge of you. Your true authenticity, your spirit, you need to be in charge of you. You understand? The resonant broadcast that comes off of you. Interesting. Is demonstrated and comes out of the root chakra. That is says, what does it say? It's a habit. You use your will to do that, and that is to believe that you're holding your power. So the root chakra is that I have to hold my power. Now the power center is in the 3rd, and the things with the heart are through the heart chakra. So your first chakra. Let's just come out and say it. What is it you need to work on that to help you? Got to stop being in a silent brooding. So do you silently brood? Meaning, somebody makes you mad and you're just like, you can't stop thinking about it. You're mumbling on your breath. There's just this steaming, seething, silent brewing. Okay. And then there are part of you then when that happens, you're like, I want to repulse. I don't want you near me. Get the fuck away. Now that's the broadcast message. It's only to that when it only kicks in. It's not always constant, but it's there. It's just like when that occurs, you then go into the thinking process of I have to survive. Okay. And as you feel like you got to survive, then you can't get your level of consciousness to operate through the heart or through the spirit mind. So then you have to wait for this to calm down. By the time it calms down, you feel like you've missed so many opportunities. And we're going to break this. Okay. To help you address it is notice that you have to start to write down when that occurs. What limitations do you put on yourself? Well, I'm not going to talk to them. They don't deserve my opinion. Asshole. It's a limitation. You see them there. You also have to say, I have to see them as however it is they're choosing to show up. If they're choosing to overpower you, constantly look over your shoulder, tell you the bullshit, talk until you go nuts, you need to write down how they show up because you are conditioned as a little girl. That's the way they have to show up. And because of that, you gave your willpower and a belief that that's the way they have to show up, that you become in this endless cycle that it won't stop. Do you understand? You need to disrupt that. Okay? Because then as you're sitting here, there's a part of you without realizing builds up resentment. And then another part of you then says, what about me, asshole? It's just, but it's the program. We need to disrupt that program. We need to disrupt how you believe that they have to show up that way. And they're saying that's fine, They will turn around and call you stubborn, or you see them as stubborn. But because we haven't worked together, I can't really give you information about, I don't think we work together. Anyways, I would use hope therapy, but I would tell you to take what I just said and tap it out, even though I have to see them that way. I deeply, completely love and accept myself. So you're going to go through that routine and you do several rounds. And remember, you're worth it. Just keep doing it. Sometimes our ego says, fuck no, this is and this is where you enjoy being in the shit, is because you're like, you can get my power. Well, you just gave them power without realizing it. Okay. You want to stop that process. Yes. You, them. Oh, you have to know when you're going into ego. Okay. It's like when I teach people to understand this, it is when you are over-identifying with matter. When you are over-identifying with matter, you will be more emotional, more attached. It's the attachments that make the pictures and the beliefs and things that occur, if that makes any sense. It will cause you to keep repeating the cycle. Yes. Is where I get confused. Yes. Because this is where you get confused. Well, here's the thing. When this pattern's happening, you will get confused. When you are trying to understand that you over-identify, it's the emotions. Okay? It's like, I love purple. So I bought this shirt because I bought with my heart. I love purple. And if somebody told me that it made me look awful, I would then look at it and go, what are they talking about? And then I would convince myself that I see what they see, and that confuses me. And then I would probably throw this shirt away. Okay. This is where it gets very confusing, but your ego just believes that to be true. You've got to define with emotion, self-love and ego. Okay. You first have to understand ego. Ego is a lens. It's an electromagnetic guiding omniapparition. It's a lens. You're looking at life as a lens. Okay, that your sensory systems are all engaged, and your sensory system, when it's engaged, it's all emotions. Okay, and the more you are angry, you're into ego. The more that you and you're in pain, that's in ego. Okay, the more you believe that story. Self-love is to stop, is to understand that I need time for myself. I'm going to put myself in my schedule. And somebody bitches about it, understand you're going to find your limitations. You're going to find out whether you have to believe them. And I look at it when somebody gets mad that I didn't want to do what they want to do. It's like, oh, good for me. I didn't fall victim to it. And no, I don't want to do that because I know I need time for myself. When you have old school, those people that are in the first, second, and third chakra, they're going to tell you that you're being selfish. That's when you begin to wake up and realize they're in a paradigm. And you're pulling yourself out of the paradigm because you're like, I don't have to believe that. I had my family so pissed at me, they made it a hate club because I divorced because I was unhappy, and the emotional abuse I was getting, the bullshit I was getting, the mental shit I was getting, I wasn't going to take it anymore. Oh, he's such a good guy. You need to love him. You shouldn't change. Oh, you're being so unfair. That when I decided I was done, they all disowned me. I'm like, all right, my work's done. And it's their choice. Now, I was hurt, but then I healed because I was over-identifying because I was hurt. I stopped hurting. I didn't repress it. I resolved it out. And I respect that that's their choice. I respect that's where they are. Do I want them in my life? I don't need to go down that line and sit there and yearn and long. No, I don't have to do that. I know that if they want to be in my life, they can be. We think differently. We're out of sync. And I'm okay with that. and I'm happier. I know they're happier. They want to bitch. I can't. It's not my responsibility how they do it. But you can get out of this. The hard time for you to say no, good. I have a hard time saying no. Even though I have a hard time saying no. You put that on the scale from 0 to 10. And what you're going to do is you're going to keep tapping and tapping and tapping how you believe that, how you emotionally believe that. Okay? Yeah, heal out. I know I'm taking advantage of it. Tap that out. You keep disrupting that signal because your inner world of belief and experiences and over-identifying with matter is telling you this is true. You tap with EFT, emotional freedom technique. The more you disrupt it, the more that you have your inner world to start creating a better, healthier outer world. Seriously, people. It works. I do it. Thank you very much for honoring me. Okay, so now we're going to do the 1-minute reads. And Amy, note the time so that I can put up there 1-minute free read start here. So anybody that's getting a free read can begin to look at it. Okay. We look at, so even if you have paid, you still get your 1-minute free read. So this is where we're going to start. We're going to start with Patricia Hinson. It's about love. Tell me how loved ones on the other side feel about my present marriage, specifically my mother. Okay, so here's the thing. She says, you got to understand we're okay with that. As we look, we can see that this is where you're meant to be. We love you. But mother says, we see that there is the word act mean. She's making the word act mean. Now, I don't know if whatever situation and you have to act mean, she says you need to heal that out. That's it, because you act mean because there's a party that jumps into the helplessness state. There's a feeling that, oh, it's coming. She says, use EFT to disrupt that out. She says she also watches how you're constantly thinking, oh, what's the right thing to do for this? Okay. What's the right thing I have to do for this? And the thing is, she says, that is where you're going to have to stop because you start losing more power. Okay, understand those, heal that out. Next person is Jasmine Stenner. She says, what do you see for my love life? And for her love life, we're going to look just at her love life. And you were a Quaker in a past life. And it's interesting because she's panicked that she's never going to find the love of her life. So this is a past life, love life that you believe that you're not going to. And so then you go into overtime hopelessness. I'm going to tell you to disrupt that by using EFT because I want you to think past life, panic, then I'm not going to have anything. Think with intention, past life, panic, and then you tap it out. Because when that past life kicks in, it creates an emotional instability. So you can think past life panic and feel that emotional instability within you because you can kind of connect there and now that, oh my God, I'm running out of time. Okay. And literally you can get a handle of that because your ego is telling you that you can't. Your spirit says, yes, you can. There's no problem with that. You can overcome. You heal out the sorrow, tap out sorrow as well. Okay, so we're going to go to Danny Dowdy. I wanted to see if you, okay, she says, I wanted to see if you or spirit had any ideas about what's up with my body lately. A few days ago, my heart started acting up quite a bit, beating extremely fast, high blood pressure, and the being is weak. Oh, wow. It's been so bad. I want to say, okay. All right. First of all, is there any, okay, checking. So it's frozen. So which one, how many are doing it? It is 3 that are doing it. Is going through a pattern. You're going and acting out what happened at 1-year-old. And so the pattern is the spleen, the gallbladder, and the bladder. And so they are doing a unit behavior and which affects the triple warmer and the heart. Okay, so then those are not direct, it's indirect. So they're affecting them indirectly. So to correct this, We want you to heal that, to which was when you were little. And they said that it was, goes back into how you became very conscientious of the other people's behavior. And it made you feel split about something. Where do you want her to hold? L2D. Start with holding L2D and just really think of the intention of what I just said, and that you can't be yourself when you were that young. So that's what your environment said. Next person is Pilly. Pilly says career path abilities. You have to work on your pride. There's a part of you that doesn't allow you to be proud of the fact that how good you are, because some people have said that if you have too much pride, that's bad. Well, if you don't have any pride, then that's not good either. So if I don't take pride in what I look like, then I could look like a piece of shit on the show. So I take pride in the fact that I care about how my environment is, and I take care of it. It's not that I have to be strict and go to that extreme, except for you have to be proud of the facts. Yeah, I take a lot of, I'm proud of the fact that spirit comes through. I'm proud of the fact. They said that when you, begin to think that you have to have pride about something, anyways, they say there's a defense that you put up. This is an old program at 2 years old. And so they're saying that if you know that, okay, fine, I have to invalidate myself because everybody else knows that's what I want. They said hold R1S, first position. Virginia Flores. Oh, I think need to work on, still needs healing. So we're going to go for the 1 minute. Virginia Flores. They're saying that the heart, in this case, you got creative insecurity. There's a part of you that becomes very insecure. Everybody's creative, but you're not able to bring that creativity because you have insecurity. And they said that when it comes to resonating your energy out, that I am creative, you actually say, no, I'm not, and you don't want people to see your work. So it's something to do with the action of how you stop yourself from behaving. It's the action about how you stop behaving, okay? And there's a lot of indecisive, so these come into play. So how would you suggest? I would suggest tapping it out, because there's something you're like, I need to reject this out of my reality. I need to reject this out of my reality, okay? What is that word? Oh, you have to heal how you pout. Pout. So think about how pouting is evolved into as an adult. Amy, we need to send Miss Danny the one video about rubbing the heart so that she can calm down, especially when she gets in great panic. Renee Patterson. What is with the bruises in my mid, back, and shoulder blades? Okay, so it looks like you're missing a certain mineral. And I think, yeah, so you have some mineral issues. You're not absorbing properly. Okay, why is that? What meridian is causing it? The liver meridian and the spleen meridian. Interesting. So what is the circumstances that's caused her body to do that? And that is that you're petrified. You're petrified that you're failing people. Oh, you need to heal that out, girl. And you've kind of disconnected from things. You made yourself irrelevant. What? You're pointing to your whole brain. Oh, start doing some Wayne Cook posture. If you don't know what that is, email me. I'll tell you. Dana, I can't even read it. S-E-A-Y. Dana S-E-A-Y. My husband and I are going to make it. Okay, so this is the thing. There's so many variables above your head that makes it very difficult. The variables are things that you haven't chose, things that you can choose, and there's things that you're constantly repeating. And it's usually the constantly the things that you're repeating that is set in the GPS. The choices of different things, you haven't decided whether you get out of that particular motion or how it is, even though your soul is saying you have to go in this direction. Being that said, for everybody, let's look at this. She says, are my husband and I going to make it? And the thing is that where is the passion? And the passion is, so there's deception. Someone is wearing a false mask. And is it about some type of emotion? Yep. Okay, so there's some sorrow going on, and somebody's not really owning up and healing it. And there's a part of you that has put up shields, both of you, that it's safe. It is safe for you to love, but you won't know this because your shields are there. And the shields from your point of view for you is that there's a part of you that went into indifferent, and for him, he's gone into a worry. And so that keeps you out of alignment. The more out of alignment you are, the harder it is to get back together, because those are the ones that you've chosen. But if you were to allow yourself to tap out all of the nasty feelings that interfere, you can start getting back into remembering why you loved each other. You can have those romance feelings again. Okay. Let's see. Okay. We're going to go to Crystal Allen. I don't know if you're still here. I hope you putting the timestamps on these, Amy. Crystal Allen. Okay. So the thing is that your thing is you keep going to psychics. You keep going to many different ones, and they're saying that you're getting people that are hooking themselves into different frequencies. I know where I'm at. I don't know where they're at. I have seen people tell people that they had something wrong with them, and I'm looking at them like, I don't see that. And so then, am I right or wrong? That's up to you guys to decide. So usually when people come to me, I'm having you tap in and healing yourself. I'm showing you how to do it. And then when you do, boom, 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 you own the credit for how you healed yourself. When you start to understand how you control the emotions that control your thoughts, that control your fears, if you can get back to those emotions, then you can start disconnecting yourself. Now, she says that you have a little girl in the attic. I'm sorry, I don't. Because I said you're afraid of the attic is because I knew you were afraid of the attic. Now I understand why you're afraid of the attic, because somebody put it in your head that there's something there. And there's dead people all over the place. There's people all over. I don't see an attachment. People just float in and out. The more you hold on to things and you say, I've got to see it, or I think I have to have fear, or this is the way I believe, you're going to draw those experiences into you. So you got to first heal the fact that you believe all these people that says that there's bad things. Secondly, you need to heal how you were so afraid of the dead. Okay? Because you can detach from all this, just to let you know. Lillian Garcia. Message from my guides. Feeling my energy really low. Well, first of all, I'm going to tell you, I need you to do Wayne Cook posture to allow your energies to come back up. You feel worn down, you're supposed to make yourself feel like shit. Okay. If you were just to do the tapping of the K27s, you follow that bone, drop in the hole here, and you tap here and you tap here. This is a major one down here. This one's so important. Okay. And then if you did Wayne Cook, if you did those every day, you'd be amazed at how your body can start to revive and to move forward. What's causing you? We already talked about that, but you can't feel your guides. Well, you can't feel your guides. It's because there's a part of you that feels like you have humiliation going on. Now, there's a part, I keep feeling you picking it up from this other person, that you feel humiliated, that something didn't come to pass. So you said something and it didn't come to pass, or you're trying to show how strong you are, but it's right there. Okay. So you need to heal that particular thing. Martha Yellow bear. Martha or Marty. This Marty. Okay. I feel like you have to be defensive. You have to put up a defense, not be defensive, but you have to put up a defense because there's something to do with the culture, the color of your skin, or it's the your bloodline. Okay. And the thing is that's followed you. And if that's the case, then you need to heal out how that conscious level, that paradigm needs to be shifted because you've got work to do. And they said, though, that the depression has come in, but it came in at a very, what happened at 23? They're saying that there's a lot of awkwardness that backs up to that, and that you're supposed to be a certain way, be perfect in a certain way that creates the depression. The energy is depressing upon you because they're saying that I feel attacked, and you need to heal that out. Sonia. All right. So as she says, how's my energy looking today? So if I look at Sonia, she is learning that she needs to be important in the relationship. So she, instead of being the it in the relationship, she's learning to be the I. She's learning to do this. And the energy of how she's holding her own, she's getting much better. Hopefully she'll do the healing and then it'll change it completely. But she just can't help but to go, oh my God. Okay, if that's the case, just start doing this. Oh my God, over again. You need to put your hand on your head. You need to somehow interrupt it because your body goes into a particular panic that causes your energy to just, because that's what it's meant to do. Because we were talking about that reading is that you're meant to give that response to them and then you lose your power. And sometimes you just feel so unworthy because you're like, I don't want to do this. And you want to scorn. You want to scorn and you just want to scream and you want to scorn, but you are so tired of hearing it back at yourself. B. Decker. Oh, Betty. Hey. Am I picking up the right clues from spirit lately, or am I misunderstanding? Is she picking up the right clues? Yes. Are you also misunderstanding? Yes. Okay. So you need a little bit more knowledge in something. So you're learning how to pick it up, but the old way of ego comes in, and they said, how's that play out? Meaning is that, you have to compelled to recorrect your thinking. So you're right on cue, and then all of a sudden you are compelled to think maybe you're wrong. Somebody around you is looking for praise, and if they are, I feel like in a way that's draining to some degree because now it's like you created a little monster. Don't take me wrong. It's like Frankenstein type thing. What it is that now there's an expectation that you constantly praise, and there are days that you don't know if you can do it. It's like you don't feel it anymore. It's become a habit that you don't feel it anymore, and you then obsess whether you're being a good person. Autumn Hale. What do I need to do to make my new business venture work out? All right, Miss Autumn. Well, first of all, you have to stop feeling depleted because without realizing that you feel depleted, which the inner world creates your outer world. So then it creates depletion in your business. The contempt that you have now, I don't know if you've got somebody working for you or if you have work or if it's the math thing, but something, you're holding contempt somewhere. And you need to disrupt that. And like I said, tap it out. You don't need to contempt at something. It can be frustrating. You can't do something, but get rid of that because then you say, Spirit, thank you for showing me how to do this. Let the Spirit show you how. What are you used to? Being very proudful. But it gets tiring because that's wearing you out, which then causes you to burn out. So that you have to look at your habit. You're losing heart to your business, which means that you're going to have to reorganize your business to the point where you can have the heart back in it. Brandy Johnson. What is causing this right middle back, right side, and hip pain? Ooh, as well as the left arm tingle and numbness I've been having. All right, Brandy, this pain that you have several frozen meridian. You have one meridian that's frozen that's causing the right side issue. And if I were to, it's a compulsion that you have to what? So there's a certain time of the day, 1 to 3 in the night and 1 to 3 during the day. So you're not able to process something out. And if I look at this a little further, they said your life, you can't process out certain things in your life. Okay, yeah, your energies are very erratic. So what I'm going to do is I take a magnet or your hand, but a refrigerator magnet, and you need to, which one's frozen? That one? Underneath the thumb, right at the crick, the very first part, you're going to have it on both sides. You're going to take the magnet, go like this. Okay, 12 times, and then you're going to take your thumb and you're going to get in there and you rub 30 times. Okay, it's the best I can do in a 1-minute read. And it'll start to send that energy zigging through the rest of your meridians. There is, yeah, you're going to need a different read. Robert Stone. Is she my forever love or karmic lesson? I constantly feel her energy when apart and warm or when together. Okay, so in this case, you've heard, you know who this is. Thank you very much. And with that in mind, you're going to look at how you need to release a bad shit from the past, whether it's you have an ex or it's family, but some of the way that you respond, the shields you put over your heart actually cause her to push her aside. And then it says that there's a part of you that feels you can't wait. That okay, so like, oh, she's not worth waiting for, but yet she is. And then you need to heal how that you have a little bit of doubt that goes onto your space because you have to deal with your trust issues because you're not going to be able to feel this forever love. And the thing is that you have to heal your somehow your family's issues seem to come interfere. So then the question then remains, are you even going to answer his question? Is this person? Yeah, you can't. Right now, all the stuff they said, it makes it so that you can't. You can't. You can't see because of all the stuff. And she is not a karmic lesson. She's not. Just to let you know, because that last card was about past life, because it's not. But you got other stuff that's in the way. TP, Teresa Pilkins. I get leg infections if I stand or sit so long. Heat and sun. Is there any help? Yes, we're going to get you some. What would you like her to do to begin her path of healing? And you have a habit of physical, mental, emotional, spiritual habit. The spiritual habit is to obsess. Obsessing causes restriction in the small intestine, the bladder, and the gallbladder, and the stomach. Now, the ones I just named, except for one, those freaking things are huge. They go from head to toe, and they're having energy restrictions. So if you're obsessing, you need to say, okay, you're obsessing about that dirt speck on the thing. Even though I'm obsessing, okay, get it down to 0. Feel the obsession. Understand it. It's not just in your head. It's in the body. Feel it, get it out, get it gone. Because it's actually, all your energies are like, oh, we have to obsess. And you have to always make yourself feel like shit, because that's your punishment you created yourself as a child. Even though I have to make myself feel like shit, so I don't participate with the family or the group. Okay, tap that out, because that fucker's huge. You need to get that gone. Kathy Straccia. Kathy. Who's getting my attention that I have to see what's happening? Oh, we're all good. That was bizarre as hell. Okay. I just felt like somebody wanted my attention, like majorly bad. Okay. Kathy, stress. I've been developing a relationship with Chris. He has pulled away for what I think he doesn't feel worthy. He is, but should I just let him go? Okay, in this case, you heard what she asked, you know what the answer is, and they said that you need to have a heart-to-heart conversation. And you and Chris, yes. And the thing is that it's do you want children? Talk about children. Does he want them? Doesn't he want them? Somebody's got to talk and do it very soon. And because you're not really getting to know each other properly, so you need to ask some of these really big questions, because that'll help you determine more where you're supposed to be and who you're supposed to be with. There's just certain factors that are very dogma. In this case, like in religion, dogma. So if you know what dogma is, if you look that up, then there is certain dogma. You need to get to know each other. Ask these particular questions. You know, how's your religion? You want children? It isn't just about love. It's about bridging and making a life together. Destiny stocks. Is there anyone that has passed that has a message for me? You know who it is? Bring forward if you do. This person, no, they're not making themselves really known. First I seen a small dog, and then all of a sudden I felt like there was a man with this dog. Can't really feel out more, except for the fact there's a lot of gray. They're saying you just have the fear of being alone, and that when you are alone, you're afraid that there's somebody's watching you. In this case, what we're doing on the other side is that we on different frequencies. We don't harm, we don't intrude your space, and we just understand you. But it's different because you have time, we don't. So, and then there's just frequency vibes. We hear you differently. It's not like we watch you on a boob tube. It's not the same thing. You think of us, we're there for you. You need to heal panic. That sits in the body. You're not doing it here. You're doing it in here. And it's because it's down in here, you don't even realize what it is. You have to recognize that feeling, and you have to let that go. Okay, I would use EFT. Miss Fran Craft. Franny says she wants just a general in this case. Let it go. They're saying neatness. That's what they're saying. The word neatness, and that you feel awkward when things are out of place. It's like you walk into the room and you know that something's out of place. And they said that the reason that gets to you is because it has to do with a habit. Something that you started doing when you were 5 is that you have to correct it so you can feel centered. You have to make it neat so you feel centered. It's not about this is what you like. This is a compulsion, a feeling that tells you that you have to have it a certain way. And they said that the reason that you have to have it a certain way is because you never had your way. You have to heal how you never believed that you could have it your way, because you became very self-conscious of the things in your room, your space, and they seem to have somehow controlled you, and they're saying tap that out. Susan Bowles. You have a panic. Same thing like the last one. It's not something that you're aware that's happening, and you have to call it out for what it is. Because the panic is when, oh my God, I can't figure it out. Am I going senile? What's going on with me? And they said that a lot of times it's just that you haven't really worked your brain, and you really haven't, you're not getting any sunlight. They're saying that you need to balance, you need to get some sunlight. I'm not exercise, but sunlight. So you need to get some vitamin D or something, because they said that there's a party that needs to get fresh air. There's something to do with nature. You need to get connected again. And she's ungrounded. That's why. Turn the timer on. You a little longer, Susan. What is it? Fear of what? Being what? in the energy, fear of being in the energy. Whose? Somebody's? Fear of being in the energy. What are you trying to say? External. Fear of being in the external. So are you afraid to go out? Are you afraid to be in certain energy fields? Because they said that it has to do with feeling hopeless. You don't feel protected. So you haven't created a coping tool so that you can go out and do these things. So you don't really have a stability of going out there. So that's one reason why, you're kind of shutting yourself off. Isn't that interesting? Really, my brain, compulsion. What are we doing? Oh, that's what she does. I can't figure it out. What are we doing? Okay. So it is when you're in that energy space, it causes you to do what I just did. Jareen Wagner. Will I be moving this year? Okay. This year. So it's got 3 months left. Is she going to move in this year? No, within the next yes. So are you going to be moving houses? Yes. Is there anything going to stop you? No. But yes, according to you is the yes. And what else is there? There's a panic that things aren't going to make it. Things aren't going to be right. Things are going to be out. So you're just obsessing and worrying. And it's very real. I know it is. They become overpowering thoughts. How do we disempower those thoughts? You have to look at the word disdain, and you have to really understand it and look at all of the different words for it, like contempt and things, because that's why you obsess. Because of that, that's why you obsess, okay? And they're saying when you do that, it's, you are feeling attacked by your own thoughts. And then you're going to tap out disdain. Angela Allen. Does my mom surround me? You know who she's talking about? Step forward. I see a walker, but it looks like a little old lady in a walker, and happy. Yes. The question is that do you know, is their mom around? Yes. Especially when you think, just allow yourself to think, because the vibrations there, you're just out of match. Okay. You're out of sync. And there is, your heart, you're feeling the lack of connection and the lack. So what happens is that you've healed some stuff, but now you're at the state of, so the energy and the vibration don't match. I would say heal out. So what in the particular would you say that she needs to heal so that she can come more into, because you rejected that out of reality. You rejected the fact, oh, no, can't let them die. No, I rejected it out of reality. When you reject something out of reality, then you are going to cause yourself to be out of sync. So even though I rejected that out of my reality, I deeply, completely love and accept myself. Stargazer. Regards, Angela. Nope, wrong person. Oh, same one. Stargazer. Okay, so it's Angela. Same person. She's got two things. Okay, go over to Lena Harbas Unterman. Lena. She wants to know, will I have another child? I'm not stressed about it, but this is something is at the bad of my head. Oh, must be the back of my head sometimes. Gotcha. Lena. Is she going to physically birth? All right, how many in total in this lifetime? You got 4. Isn't that interesting? You have a choice up to 4. I don't know how many you have, but that's physically bringing them through, and they're alive and healthy. Yeah. Fear of losing one. I don't know if you have a fear of losing one or not. Lives through people. Okay, so if you have them or not, that's up to you, because somehow somebody's telling you something. I don't know if you're not really making your choice that you can have them. or if you have strict rules that you have to be married first, or you got to have a happy marriage first, or you got to do what they say. The thing is that they're saying that something's influencing your thoughts so that you won't. But you could have up to 4 if you don't have that many already. Larissa. She wants to know, will I meet my twin flame? Where, please? Okay, that can be tricky because if you have not developed yourself, here's the problem. If you have not developed yourself, made yourself prepared, you can be out of alignment. So the first thing is your twin flame here on this planet? Yes. Is your twin flame and you close? Oh, you can be. Have you met them yet? No. Have you got work to do? You both have work to do. So it depends. So if you were to work through your shit, then would you be with your twin flame? Ooh, yes. New love. Okay. If you chose not to work through, what the hello? Oh, God bless it. Worth waiting for. So that means, hopefully you'd eventually see each other. I don't know. You're going to meet him in this lifetime? Yep. Yes. And that's good. Wow. That's brilliant. So they're saying be careful, and you have this tendency to want to reconcile different energies, different habits that could interfere. And so if you reconcile anxiety, then you can, that's the shit you got to work on. You're welcome, Fran. Thank you for hanging in, everybody. Okay, so I'm gonna, if you have not emailed me, I'll give you a few minutes to email me. Your 1 minute free, get your 1 minute free read, because I don't know sometimes the names that they match of the people that are already given it. Hi, David. Again, you're in YouTube land. Oh, there it is. If you want a 1 minute free read, I'll give you a few seconds for people that do want it. We're going to put it over here, and we're going to say paste. I'll go that way. All right, so you guys hopefully are getting stuff out of this. I hope that people have shared and people have put it in groups. That helps out, because if you want to join my group, this just lets you know if you have a hard time getting it. Some people say, I have a hard time finding it when you're on. Well, if you join the group, I get to notify my group when I'm on, so then you get to be notified better. So there is a better, faster way that some people can actually get to us now. I plan on doing this every Monday and Wednesday at 10 a.m. my time. Went through. No, you know what, Amy? You probably are on the wrong page. Yep. Your question went to Medicine Woman for you instead of B Power. This is why I missed it. So, Amy, yep, I've got it, sweetheart. Lower back. Oh, okay. We'll get there. I got to get rid of that red sheet there. Okay. Where's my... Yep. So her lower back. Ooh, you got some frozen meridian, sweetheart. And that frozen meridian is because of awkward feelings. Okay, so where is it and how do we, and it's in the gallbladder. Okay, so take your magnet, your refrigerator at your hand, and your gallbladder, you're going to need to take and go down to the big toe. Nope. Baby toe. The baby toe, so that's the inside. Right here's your bone, and then if you feel up here, usually you have an indent. Your finger will fall in the indent. That's where your gallbladder is. And then you're going to take and you're going to rub it, the magnet, both sides, 12 times each side. Then you're going to take your thumbs and you're going to rub it for 30 times on each of those points. And then they said to help get to the relief, you need to go to your spleen and not use a magnet, but rub. So in this case, you go... Here's the big toe, that point where the bone is, and then right there above it, that's where you're going to rub 30 times. And to really get, understand that you feel awkward and you fail. If you feel like you had awkward and you fail, they said they want you to hold R2D. Right wrist, second position, nice and deep. Thank you, Amy. I'm sorry. I did not see that because it was in the other email box. Tammy Stevens, Vintage Babe. Huh, I'm going to get that right. Just general. Miss Vintage Babe. Physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. And the spiritual Kundalini, basic K. You're talking about a habit that you're doing, and it has to do with up and down, up and down. So whatever you're doing, whatever the habit, whatever the up and down, you have, you're hitting your rested elements. Like, I can't seem to get past this. And they said that you had a choice at 1 year old to deal with an issue about being invalidated, and you have to look at all the ways that you've become invalidated. And they said that when you became invalidated, you started to live the way that people wanted. And now it became a habit. And as you're trying to just be grown up and try to live your way, now it is making it so that you're incompatible with your own relationship with yourself. Well, this is huge. So you have sorrow. So they said heal out the sorrow and heal out all those things I said. Take each word and tap it out. That would be very beneficial to you. Okay. I thank all of you. You guys are wonderful and great. And it's all good. Just checking to make sure you're welcome. Thank you very much. It's been 3 hours, and I will be here next, Monday. I may do some surprises in between. We don't know, but Spirit likes to talk. Trying to figure out if you have an idea, if like the best way so I can give my free minute reads and to be able to talk and to do the readings. If you have any ideas, I could do that. Or if you have any ideas of how to get me out there further, then that would be great too. Remember to, if I'm giving a reading, please, the recommendations, that's great. And you're welcome, Betty. I'm glad that you stuck around. You're growing. Yeah, you have a lot of, you even have my mother back in you too, by the way. Family, you have a lot of energy that's there and supporting, so I think that's amazing too. I love that. She's laughing. She says, I'm with everybody. Oh, mother made me snort. Okay. I know I just blamed her. All right. What I want to say is thank you very much. I love you, and please stay blessed. Bye.